Hello and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 736 for Tuesday the 17th of June 2025. I'm your host Mark Webb, gamertag Pearson ID, Steam ID, Webby 360G, and joining me today is...
It's too hot and I don't like it. Snick fights.
No comment, Sensei Switch.
Mate, I have to say, right, I think we need to have a competition on who's the hottest. I'm in a tiny little box room with the door closed because my kids are in bed, so I'm trying not to wake them up, and it is like a sauna in here. Have you guys got windows open?
I've got a slight window open and a fan on the go.
Nice. So I think I win.
Yeah, you are definitely the hottest of us three, Webby.
Yeah, and that's just in the looks department.
Oh, I can't see you've had a haircut, so...
I haven't actually. I've not had my hair cut. This is the problem, right? So I'm trying to grow my hair, because I've always had it short. Right? Yeah. So I'm trying to grow it out and have like a slick back Trump-style hairdo, but better. And, I mean, it's in that middly phase where it's just annoying and looks shit, so I'm just still trying to grow it out a bit more. But the thing is, when it's dry, because I've just put some water on it and brushed it back, when it's dry, I look like I'm come straight out of the 90s because it falls down into a middle parting just naturally, like a McDonald's on the front, like the front. Yeah, it just falls down to that. And I said to the missus, I don't know if I can grow my hair anymore. Oh, I was doing my head in. But yeah.
Mine always goes curly when it goes too long.
Oh, mine's really straight and fine. Just want to say hello to Off to Pace and Mr. Jelly in the Twitch chat. Hope you're doing well.
Oh.
And I just want to give a shout out to... Oh, what the hell's what's happened to my show notes? Just give me a second. Sorry, my show notes have gone skoo-whiff.
And they're on a Google Doc somewhere.
Yeah, I just found it. Right, so I want to give a shout out to the All Access patrons. Those are the patrons that spend £10 a month. And I've got a funny story about one of them. So, All Access patrons, John Smith and Philip Thompson. Hope you're doing well. And I had a third one this month called Neil Quigley. So I messaged him and I said, "Oh, thank you for subscribing." And he sent me a message back saying, "I have no idea who you are or how I subscribe to this Patreon. So I'm cancelling. I do apologise."
Sorry, mate. Got name, mate.
Yeah.
Sarcasm, or is he serious?
He was being dead serious. Yeah, he said it was recommended to him on Patreon, and he somehow subscribed by accident. I said, "Oh, I was all excited." I said, "I was really excited because you were my third All Access Patreon, and you didn't even know who I was." So I got quite upset.
I like that.
Yeah. So that's the fun story for the week. Anyway, well, we're back to normal now. Obviously, Darren's back off holiday. We talked last week. Nick's back from his week off as well. We discussed all of the Summer Games Fest stuff last week. There was a lot of games. So now we're back to normal, talking about what we've been playing and some of the news. And I'm looking forward to talking about some new games that have come out recently. But the thing I'm most interested in is not myself for a change. It's Darren, because Darren picked up a Switch 2 on launch. And I'm eager to hear about it, Darren.
Yeah, well, I did briefly touch on it at the end of last week, didn't I? Yeah, go for it.
Can I just tell my quick Switch 2 story?
Of course, Nick.
Because I can't talk about it very much. Because I'm getting one for my birthday next month. And yesterday, out with the parents for Father's Day and stuff, we went into a Smith's and they had one with, like, the normal one, not the Mario Kart bundle.
Yeah.
And my dad bought it for me. And he was like, "There you go, son." And he put it in my hands. And as I had it in my hands, and then my mother took it out of my hands and said, "You're not having it till your birthday." So I had it in my hands, and now I have no Switch.
Oh.
So...
I bet you felt like you was like 12 again.
Yeah, he just said, I was sitting there like grinning like a shit. I'm 40 next month and I've got a Nintendo Switch. And I'm like, and then it's gone. So I'll have to wait.
Yeah, they have definitely upped their kind of supply game in the rest of the world. Like my brother still can't get hold of one in Japan. Like
Really?
I think it's still running off lotteries and stuff over
Wow.
Yeah, I
there. Like
think
where you're entered into a draw to be able to buy them.
Amazon have gone back to you can have one in a week or two if you pre-register again, like they did before you pre-ordered.
Right.
It's a weird launch how they've done it. It's just like normally they just sell out everything and don't bring nothing out for 2 months, don't they? But
Well, that's it. Yeah, they'll just normally you'd expect them to have like an initial wave, and then you get like 1 to almost 2 months of like nothing, and then you get like a stock refresh coming, and everyone goes mental again.
Well, it was weird because launch day, I was saying in the chat in our WhatsApp group, but I was like, oh look, they're still in stock on Amazon and in Argos, etc.
Yeah, that's why
surprising.
I got one.
Not many people knew they were out. They didn't advertise it as much as they would normally, did they?
I don't know, mate. When I was watching the F1 yesterday, there was loads of Switch 2 and Mario Kart adverts.
No, I meant like months in advance, if you know what I meant. It's like it's out now. I can't remember seeing many before.
Like it's coming sort of like things. I mean, after it came out, I ended up with a load of adverts on my YouTube.
Yeah, I've got loads of them. But if anyone does struggle, and it's a decent app. You could get on Android and iOS the Hot Stock app.
Yes.
But basically, if you put it on there, it doesn't cost anything. If you want the Switch to whichever, like turn notifications on, and they'll tell you when it's in stock and at different shops as well. So that's how I got my Series X when they were really struggling, like peak COVID time. So if anyone like really desperately trying to get one, just download that app and you'll see. And it also tells you when they were last in stock, but a lot of them was in stock for 5 minutes and completely out of stock again.
Right.
So, but people who can't get one will just have to listen to people talk about it on podcasts, won't we?
Or watch some YouTube videos, I guess.
Well, I was trying to get Switch to talk more about it, but you said.
But yeah, I wasn't actually going to pick one up on launch because obviously I had a pre-order down, which was changed on Shop 2 to the Mario Kart digital bundle and the Piranha Plant freaking camera and some other bollocks that I had no interest in. I think it was like an extra pair of Joy-Cons. And I was just like, no, I don't want that bundle. And I didn't select that bundle. I just selected for a Switch and it wouldn't let me change it or anything. So I just cancelled it. And I thought, you know what, stuff it. I'll just pick one up later down the line. And then as you do, like it was a couple of days after I got back off holiday. And you were in the chat and you was like, oh, they're still in stock in Argos. And I was like, oh, no. Quickly look at the old click and collect in my area. Yep, there's one just up the road. Can I buy it?
I think Shop 2 are known for that, though. I think Game as well. Like, you pre-order it, and then a week or two before you're supposed to pay and get it, they just try to chuck big bundles at you and say you have to buy it.
Yeah, it's a way of them sort of like shifting a bit more thing, isn't it, with the demand? But
yeah, I saw them.
I did check all of them first.
I just didn't, because I knew I was going to get one for my birthday. I was like, but do I buy it now and try not to buy it? Not to play it. I couldn't have done it.
Yeah, so I did check most of the other online places, and they were still out of stock or on back order. And I was just like, no, screw it. I'll just go and pick it up now then, if that's the case. Nothing like a bit of that new shiny.
Nice, mate.
And regardless of what system you get or whether it's any sort of technology, you always get that little bit of when you open it up. Be it a new phone, new television, new whatever, anything sort of like new and funky, you always sort of enjoy the experience of opening it up. Apart from apparently a bunch of people in America,
yep.
Oh dear,
picked up their Switches from, was it GameStop or Best Buy, where they stapled the fucking people's receipts to the top of the boxes, not knowing that just under the top of the box is the screen of the system. And they ended up punching a load of staples through people's screens.
Idiots. It's not well packaged at all, is it? I think they're saying it because it's like saving the environment, but not by not putting loads of foam and stuff on it. I just think they're.
I mean, yeah. When I picked mine up and she handed it to me over the counter, I was just like, "Is that it? Wow, that's way smaller than I thought it would be." even just the size of the box and everything. But the system itself, as people know, it's quite a bit bigger than the original Switch. Has a better screen as well. I don't know what the screen was for the original system. Was it a 720 screen, the original?
Yeah, and that's 1080p on this.
And this is 1080. And at first you're kind of like, it's 1080. I want it bigger, but then you don't need it.
Yeah.
Because you only need high resolutions when the screen reaches a certain size that those pixels start to look ugly, which is why 4K TVs have only really started to become a thing since you now have 40-inch and above. Whereas obviously when we were younger, we were quite happy sitting there in our bedrooms playing our PlayStations and stuff on a 14-inch 4x3.
Yeah.
TV screen. If you were lucky, you had one of the 16:9 widescreens that Sony pumped out, and a couple of the others that were quite mini. But yeah, if you had a TV like the size we've got now, you'd probably have to remove most of your walls with a crane and then lift it in with a squad of people that know what they're doing. Because those TVs were massive.
I remember having a 32-inch CRT and moving house and lugging it up and down the stairs. Jesus, man, that was a two-man operation.
I remember seeing the meme of the world's strongest man. We don't want to lift those massive stone balls, but they TV on, and that was every 10-year-old boy taking their parents' old TV upstairs to their bedroom. I'm like, yeah, I think we've all done that, haven't we?
Yeah.
When we've had the TV, I'm like, oh, you won't lift that on your own? I will somehow.
You almost put your back out lifting some of them.
Oh, it's worth it, mate. Especially when most of us had crappy, 14-inch black and white TVs to start with, or maybe that was just me.
But yeah, I think I had a black and white early on as well.
Yeah,
pretty much. I think everyone's had one at one point.
One where you have to plug it in and then turn the little wheel to tune the stuff, whatever you're watching.
It's just kind of amazing how small TVs are now. I will say, out of all of the technology that we've actually had, the only one that I actually am happy with is televisions. I think a lot of the others have kind of gone backwards, but televisions have always sort of improved. They're super thin now. I think my first television that I got was 28-inch widescreen, was about the same size as my 50-odd inch that I've got now.
Yeah, they're so thin now, but I think the problem with new stuff is, I've made this mistake with a couple of tellies, Samsungs. I've had two Samsungs.
You let the kids get near them.
Well, that, but I've not bought. I've purchased lower end of the scale, and they just don't last as long. I've had my current 4K 65-inch since 2020, so 5 years. But
keep an eye on that. That's on fucking Suicide Watch, mate.
Well, because it's got
last about 5 years.
Well, no, it's got light bleed in the bottom right hand corner. Yeah, it's just every you don't notice it though when you're watching TV shows or films, which is really weird. I only notice it when I'm playing the Xbox, and it's only with certain light.
Yeah, if you've got a black border or something along the top and bottom.
No, it's not black. It's blues and yellows and things. You'll notice this patch in the bottom right hand corner. It's really weird, but
yeah, I had it on my old one, and that was why I got rid of it because it was really bugging me.
Yeah. So I'm at that point now where I'm kind of do I put the money down for an OLED or do I just leave it for a bit longer? I don't know. I've been having this conversation in my mind for over a year now.
I mean, yeah, going off into a tangent now. I remember obviously when we went back in there, when you'd get a new TV for your console or whatever, you'd just be like, oh, that telly looks mint, I'm picking it up. And then went around the 360 PS3 era, and towards the tail end of that and the beginning of the PS4 and Xbox One, it was like, oh, you got to make sure your telly supports it, whether because of the refresh rate, and you get input lag and all this stuff. I was like, what?
Yeah, buying a TV's so complicated now.
It's horrendous.
Yeah, I hate it.
I ended up wanting to get the newer model of the television I have, but then found out the newer version has less features on it than the one I've got that was slightly cheaper. It didn't have the up-res scaling for old 1080p content and stuff like that.
Right.
And I
Yeah,
was
I
just
think
like,
they do that
why
with
the
TVs, don't they? They just baby
Yeah.
step. Every year they give you, but take it away. They just rejig what everything's got to just confuse you and rename stuff. I remember my first HD TV was the Samsung ones that look like monitors they had in the
Yeah.
Xbox
Yeah.
things. I
Yeah.
had one of those.
Yeah, Xbox
which was,
promoted them, didn't
yeah,
they?
which was good. But then I was like, oh, it's only 720p. I need a
Yeah.
1080 TV. So I
Brother
went and
had one
bought
of those.
that. And then, oh, it's not 1080p. It's
It's 10.
1080i.
Yeah, I remember that.
1080i.
Yeah.
Interlaced, mate.
And then later, I finally got a 1080p TV, and I went, oh, but you've got an LCD. You need an LED. I'm like, and
And then you stuck the Xbox, then you connect the 360 to a monitor with an actual proper monitor cable, and you're like, this looks fucking incredible. And then
to
they
be
stopped
fair,
supporting it.
up until my 1080p, I wasn't even using HDMI cables. I was using the 3 little wires and a SCART lead.
Well, yeah, because
You were using the bastardised SCART. That's not even true SCART. That was AV SCART, wasn't it?
Yeah, I didn't know, mate. How would I know?
but the original
cables it came with.
Yeah, but the original Xbox 360 didn't have a HDMI port. It was AV, wasn't it?
Yeah,
no, the HDMI port came with the Xbox Elite, didn't it?
Something like that. Yeah, it was a few years in.
I think it had all the different coloured ports, so you could get.
Yeah, you had SVHS, which was the one that was really weird, which I think had your left and right audio, the sort of circular-looking connector that went in almost with a load of pins inside of it, and then it had like the 3 colours as well that were going on top. I can't remember what console had that. It might be in the Dreamcast.
Okay. I think it was component cables, those ones with the green and the red and all the different.
It was yellow, red, and white.
No, but that was the 3. Well, that was component.
Oh,
and then you had component, which was like 5 different cables. Yeah, which was how are we supposed to? There was so many different fucking cables we've had over the years.
Nowadays, it's just HDMI 2.0 job done.
Yeah, and it's like.
Oh, you got to make sure all your TV supports the right HDMI format as well.
And does it support the right HDR as well? Is it HDR10 capable?
Well, I heard Switch is only good with something else. I saw one of these blokes' YouTube video today, actually, where he's saying Switch will be shit if you've got a HDR TV that hasn't got this.
What, Dolby Atmos?
No, it was HG something, like one of the settings. I'm like, yeah, I haven't got that.
Oh.
So apparently, if you haven't got that, you might as well just turn HDR off on the Switch on the TV.
So annoying, isn't it? Why can't I just simplify just buying a telly?
Yeah, it's like my TV in the living room is crap on PS5 HDR, but really good on Xbox HDR. But my LG 43-inch in my games room is reversed. So the PS5 is really good on that TV, but the Xbox HDR is shit.
So anyway, I'm with the
Yeah, we're talking about Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Well done, Darren.
TVs and stuff, why not? So yeah, the controller things, I can't remember what they're called. The Joy-Cons.
Joy-Cons.
Yep.
Are a lot better than the old one. For a start, they're black.
Yep.
Which is
so they're not the can you not get the multicoloured ones then? No.
I think you still can. It's still got the blue and the red, but they're kind of just like behind the thumbsticks and on the sides of the magnets, so you can still tell which side's which.
You can just about see it in a crease, can't you?
Yeah, sort of a thing.
But the original, you could have all grey, all colours, couldn't you? Whereas this one, it's just that, so...
So I can't remember if I think on my original Switch, because I actually got it out because you can do a system transfer.
How easy was that? Was that...
It was a piece of piss, actually, to be honest. I did my setup with the Switch 2, and obviously it got to the point where it's like, oh, do you want to transfer your data and stuff over from the original Switch? And I was like, maybe later. And it said, by the way, if you choose to skip this, you can't do it again. So be warned. And I was like, bastard. So I dug the old Switch out, which I haven't turned on in like well over a year, maybe 2 years.
Wow.
Turned it on, 100% battery still, which I was like, that's fucking awesome. The fact that I obviously charged it, turned it off, and it hasn't, like, none of the batteries drained at all in that time. That's a good battery. basically had to do a system update because there was obviously no option on there for the Switch 2 transfer, because obviously back when that was done, the original, because I don't have the OLED model, it's just the other one. I think it's just like the OG.
Oh, yeah.
So then sort of sat there, did the update, and then it just basically said, yeah, select this on the system, went down to it, did the transfer thing, and it was just basically like, connect it to the same Wi-Fi that your system's Switch 2's connected to, and then just place it next to it, or near it, so it can obviously just talk to each other. And that was it. It just started copying it across.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Buttons. So it was like fairly easy.
Can you still use the old one at the same time? Like, if you know what I mean.
While it's transferring or after?
No, after you finish.
Yeah, I think you can, but I think the save games that are moved across might have been literally moved across.
Oh, because when I get mine, I'll copy everything over and I'll let the girlfriend use the old one. But obviously, I don't. If I move her save, she'll get very mad.
I'm not sure because I haven't gone back and tried it out.
Maybe this week, have a look for me, just a sec.
Yeah, but the screen's nice. Like it's nice and chunky. It's definitely big enough. I don't know whether I'd want a handheld with a screen bigger, to be honest.
Right.
Because it's kind of getting to the point where you're like, fucking hell, this feels like I'm a 5-year-old again, holding an Atari Lynx.
Well, it's not really a handheld, is it? Like a portable device, shall I say, when they get too big.
Mm. Yeah, like if you remember what it felt like holding a Lynx when you was a kid, like it's basically almost to that point again.
Or a Game Gear
like, wow,
with all those double A's.
True that. Didn't it take 6, or was that the Lynx took 6? I think one of them might have even taken 8.
Could have been 8.
I think the TurboGrafx handheld as well, that took about 6 or 8 batteries. It's ridiculous. But yeah, also when it comes to the battery life, it does seem a bit of a sappage with the Switch 2. I'm pretty much sure that if I was to play a certain game on it, I would probably get 2 hours play before needing to charge it.
Okay.
But then I did look online and they went, actually that's kind of alright, because if you play it on the Steam Deck, it lasts about an hour and a half. I was like, oh, fair enough. So yeah, the magnetic sort of fasteners that the actual system has for the Joy-Cons are fantastic. I love those. You just literally bring it pretty close to it and it just snaps in. That's it. And like there's not even much tension if you grip them and then try bending.
Okay, that's because that's something I was worried about, you know.
Yeah, the old one, it had quite a bit of tension on it, didn't it? When you was like moving back and because you just slid them into those grooves.
Yeah.
But on this one, it feels way more robust.
Oh,
and
that's
then there's
good.
a little trigger button on the back that you just hold down and then just slowly peel it away. And
Brilliant.
that's it. It just comes off. And then when you snap them back in, you see the little edge on the edges of the screen, the little slots going into the side, like with the colours.
Okay.
It's kind of cool in that sense. I know a lot of people are kind of like, it's not really an upgrade, it's not really that great, because it's the exact same front end.
Okay, yeah.
It literally is exactly the same. Like, there's no change whatsoever to the actual dashboard of the front end. You still can't. This is one of the things that actually baffles me. You can take screenshots with the system, can't you? I think you could with the original.
Yeah.
There's no option to set those screenshots as the background or anything for your home screen.
Oh, that's a bit.
And I don't get that.
Yeah.
I literally don't get that. That's weird.
I don't think you've ever been able to set a background on the Switch.
No, I don't think you have. I mean, I found out today how to change it to dark, because I always had it on white, and I thought that would probably, having it on dark will save a bit of battery life when I'm on just that front end. So yeah, the jaw things feel great. I will say, when you click them into the old dog ear thing, so just like the original Switch, you get like a little plastic thing that sort of like acts as like a controller handle. And then you click the two things into either side of it, and you get like a mini control pad.
Yeah, I think they called it like the dog bone controller.
Yeah,
That was
because
one
it
of the-
looks like a dog, doesn't it? It's like with the floppy
like dog
ears.
ears, yeah, like
Yeah.
I've heard it's
So well,
shit compared to the
it's yeah. The one on the original Switch was slightly better because you literally slid your Joy-Cons into it, and it held them in place, and like the rounded part of it was flush to the front of the Joy-Cons, because obviously they went into a hole, whereas this, it's just open and you just clip them in on either side.
Yeah. I've heard that they basically put these little wing bits on the bottom, and when you try to hold it, it just digs into the palm of your hand like at a weird angle.
Yeah, no, I don't have that issue. I just have the issue of it just feels too small. Everything's too small and close together.
I mean, you
Like
could
I'm
buy a
used to
pro
my
controller
controllers.
if
Yeah,
you
I'm
could
gonna
find
have
one.
to, because
They're sold
there's
out
just certain
everywhere again.
games. Yeah, there's just certain games that it just doesn't feel fantastic using. It feels like your like I say, the thumbsticks are too close, and you just want to actually feel more of a controller. Like they're perfectly fine for when you're in handheld and stuff, but
Yeah.
when you're trying to actually game with it on the telly,
I mean, I think
doesn't
only
cut it, in my
maybe
opinion.
2 or 3 times in the 7-8 years, because I got it the Christmas the year it came out, 2017. Like a handful of times I've ever used the the two Joy Cons separately whilst playing it, like two-player Mario Kart, that type of thing.
Oh
It's
right, yeah.
just because they're just too small, aren't they, to be used? I mean, I assume for kids they're fine, but for grown-up hands, I just think that even the newer ones are probably too small, aren't they?
Mm.
I don't know, man. Sorry, I had to run off quickly while you
No,
were
it's cool.
talking. I was desperate for a toilet, but like I think because I don't really use the Joy Cons on the Switch. I always use the Pro controller. Did you pick up the Pro controller too with it at all?
No, I haven't yet. If you've got the original Pro controller, that will work.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine then. Oh, that's
And
good.
to be honest, I prefer the look of the original one, because the new one's got like this grey buttons and stuff along the top part, hasn't it? To kind of set it aside, but it doesn't fit with the rest of the aesthetic of the system.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
It would have
it's
been
like
better if
different.
it was like blue and orange instead of just grey.
Yeah, it kind of looks like PS4 controllers where they'd have a different shade of colour on the bottom to the top.
Right.
It's weird, but they're sold out everywhere at the moment. So, and they're bloody expensive at 75 quid, but it's
Oh, they're
getting
75. I
universal.
thought they were like 90, unless that was the dollar's price.
Yeah, 75 quid. I mean, I know someone who's got one, and the two and three people I know who's got one like through Facebook, but in real life, it said it's one of the best controllers they've ever had, and he said it's better than like the Elite 2 Xbox controller, and he's got the the really expensive £200 PS5 one.
Wow.
Oh,
He just
right,
said
yeah.
it feels better than that. It's like they said they've done something with the plastic, so it feels really nice. So it's like got that rubbery texture, but it's not rubber, if you know what I mean.
A bit
And the
like,
sticks
yeah,
are
there
really
was
nice.
sort of like, if you've got, obviously, like I will say that is one of the cool things about the Xbox One controllers. You've got that slightly rough kind of texture, haven't you, on the back?
Yeah.
I'm just running my fingers across it now. It's kind of pleasant. So yeah, the other thing that's kind of weird, I don't remember if this was true with the original Switch as well, but when you're playing the system in docked mode,
Yeah.
there is a slight, and I mean slight, border around the screen of the TV.
Oh, right. Okay.
Almost like it mimics the border around the screen of the actual system, because it's not literally straight to the edge, is it?
Yeah.
The thing. It's literally like, I don't know, like a centimetre, a couple of centimetres maybe. It's like not much at all. But I was just like, oh, that's kind of weird. I've only just noticed that.
Is that the just the home screen, all the games as well?
That's the game when you're playing it. They're just in docked in general. It doesn't fit completely to the screen. There is a very small border around the edge. Not enough to sort of bug me, but it was just like, oh, didn't notice that. And then again, I might be able to piss around in settings and change that or something. I don't know.
Okay.
There's probably something somewhere, isn't there?
Yeah. So yeah, I picked up. I have 4 games for the system.
Yep.
Shall I talk about all the games before we sort of go into the different ones, or just talk about the ones sort of separately as we're going round?
I mean, I'm just quite interested just to hear about the Switch and all the games you've been playing, Darren, to be honest, because it's a brand new system that's just come out. People are interested. Not many people have picked up, as far as I'm aware, in the community. I know you've picked up...
Which is weird, because the day it came out, most of my YouTube videos and stuff in the evening...
Yeah.
And stuff I was seeing like that night when it came out, and then the day after, and then the day after that, were people shitting on it, like complaining about it.
Okay.
Basically saying like, oh, it doesn't feel worth it, it's not really an upgrade. I mean, it may or may not be for someone who like used the Switch like religiously back in the day.
Right.
And they're jumping from one to the next and it feeling differently, where I just used to kind of use it at work, and mainly when I was doing night shift, and since I stopped doing night shift I didn't really play it.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't particularly any need, because it's just one of those things, right? You're sat at home, are you going to sit and play on your Switch, or are you generally going to be booting up your PS5 Pro or your Xbox or your PC or whatever, if you've got one of those?
Yeah.
You're generally going to be playing one of those if you've got the choice. Although there are exceptions with certain games where I was just kind of like, yeah, this is really good, I can see myself sort of like playing this and enjoying it docked and stuff, but I will need a better controller because it just feels a bit... But again, when you've got the things clipped into the old dog controller thing, they don't come off that easy either. They still feel robust. So also, like the magnetic sort of thing is one of the things I've been most impressed by.
Oh, that's good.
That and the fact they actually decided to have a stand on the back of the system itself.
A decent one, you mean? Not a little tab that falls over every time you try and...
No, this is actually like a full sort of like... can't remember what they're called, dual... It's like a big bracket that just comes out.
And also, it's got like... It's nice and stiff as well.
That's what she said, right?
I knew you were going to say that, Webby. And there's like loads it's not like the other one. It was open and you just put it there. And if you're not careful, or if a dog walked past, the whole thing would just tip over and it'd break off. Whereas this one,
I used to do what you did, where you just had the carry case and you can like double up one of the bits in that and use it as like a stand.
Yeah, you fold the case bit open. Yeah. I mean, I just hardly
doing that.
I just used my Switch like a Game Boy for about 3 years, and then I haven't used it portably at all. But yeah, so I've just noticed, because I remember this when I started streaming, there is a setting in the Switch, like you go in System, TV settings, adjust screen size, and that put the little arrows in all 4 corners, and then you can...
right. I might do that when we're recording a bit.
There is that. I remember doing that when I had to stream, so there is...
Right, yeah, because I probably haven't set that up right. I just put the dock in and off I went, kind of thing from there. So that's cool. That will help that. As far as the games go, I got Mario Kart. Was the first game I got.
That's the only game.
And again, like there was a lot of people that were like, "Oh, it's got no games," and the usual thing. And I'm like, "Hold on a minute, you've just said it's got no games, but yet one of the games coming out for it is one of the biggest selling games of all time." Or a sequel to one of the biggest selling games of all time, and no doubt this will be one of their biggest selling games of all time as well, because it just generally is when it comes to Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Which is the Mario Kart World, which is basically, I think, if everyone was picking up a Switch, then I think most people are going to be picking up Mario World, and I think they've stated, haven't they, that it's been the fastest hardware launch of all time.
Yeah, something like 3 million units in like 3 days or something, or 2 days.
3.5 million systems or something, isn't it, in a couple of days? And if everyone who's bought a system's got Mario World, and a load of them obviously had it bundled in, technically they can say that game's already surpassed 3 million copies.
I mean, the guy at Smith's I spoke to today, or yesterday, because I was happy they didn't have the Mario Kart bundle, so I got it physical like you, so I didn't get the digital code. It's 40 quid more, but it's not my money. Who cares? But he said all the Switches they've sold, obviously the Mario Kart bundle comes with Mario Kart. He's only sold one Switch that did not a copy of Mario Kart, and they said that's because they'd already bought it. So only one person
somewhere else.
Yeah, they've already bought it. I think they said their console got cancelled, but the game didn't.
Right.
If you see what I mean? So yeah, so only one person didn't buy it because they already had it. So I wasn't surprised if that sold 3 million copies as well.
So what's it like then, Darren? Because obviously it's a bit like Forza Horizon, isn't it? Where you can just drive around the world.
No,
it's basically like, this is the thing. There's a lot of people like, this is one of the games that's kind of been quite divisive. The Mario Kart stuff is still there. It's awesome. It's great. It's fun. It's highly unfair, as Mario Kart generally is. So the better you are at the game, generally, the more you're going to get fucked over by the AI, and it's RNG bullshit. Because when it's basically, Mario Kart is like a communism game.
Like, that's why Dan loves it so much.
You can't dominate the pack, because even if you're at the back, you get all the best power-ups, you get all the best abilities, and if you're up the front, you get fuck all, and you're constantly getting reds and blue shells and that thrown up your arse and getting fisted by invincibility and stuff. So that frustration can still be there, but it's beautiful, it's colourful, the characters are vibrant, all the kind of stuff you expect and want from a Nintendo game. Now, the open world, currently, I imagine they're probably going to add updates to it over time, like they did with, obviously, Mario Kart 8. At the moment, you just kind of drive around, sort of exploring, but there's not really anything that I've come across so far that's like the billboards in Burnout, or sort of things of that sort of like you can, I mean, one of the best things is you can go around and pick up sort of like power-ups that unlock new outfits for the characters.
Okay, yeah. So just dotted around the world. Okay.
Yeah. So they're not necessarily dotted around. You might have like a hot dog seller, and then you go up to him and he drops like a package on the floor, and you pick it up, and then when you use it, it might be a power-up or it might be a new outfit.
Right.
Sort of a thing. But it's just generally fun exploring and going around the world and sort of like waving at other characters and having them sort of like little toads with backpacks going whoop, and waving and stuff. It's just kind of like heartwarming, alongside the aesthetic of you racing and being like, you cheating piece of shit, like while you're doing all the races and stuff. But it's, I will say, like, Mario Kart World is definitely one of those games that you should pick up if you have the system. And like I say, like, they supported Mario Kart 8 for like years and years. I mean, the fact that game started off as almost a failure on the Wii U, and then they sort of like ported it straight over and slapped it on the original Switch, and it became like a runaway massive success and like one of their biggest selling games ever. It was pretty obvious where they were going to go with a launch title, and it's kind of weird that they didn't hang off and launch the system like next month. Like, I do find that weird, because obviously you've got Donkey Kong, haven't you? Donkey Kong Rumble or whatever the hell it is coming out next month.
Yeah,
I think they did that with the Switch One, though. I'm pretty sure it was launched with Zelda, and then about 2-3 months later, Mario Kart came out as well. Pretty sure they did exact same thing.
But it just makes more sense having like a fun arcadey party game, and then having a sort of like platformer single player.
I just wonder if they're also thinking, you've now spent like 400-500 quid on the console and Mario Kart.
Give their wallets some time to recover.
Yeah, you can't afford to buy one or the other, so we'll let you play that for a month or so, and then you've been paid, and then you'll go and buy it, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing.
I mean, I haven't bothered with any of the camera stuff or anything in that. I'm just not interested.
I think you could,
to be honest, and all that
use any 720p or higher USB camera. So
yes, again, I'm just not interested in it really. I mean, maybe dicking around on it one night for a laugh or something. If I don't even think I've got a USB camera anywhere actually, to be honest. But yeah, Mario Kart's fun. One of the other games I picked up because I just love the game so much, and the fact of having it handheld was just an interesting thing for me, especially if I could sort of like take it to work and stuff when I'm doing the odd weekends and dick about. It's Cyberpunk.
I can't believe you bought it again. That's mad,
I have
man.
three copies of this now.
does this one come with all the new
PlayStation,
stuff
and
as well?
This one comes with all of the original content plus Phantom Liberty, and it's all on the cartridge, which is insane. Like you literally, like you just put the cartridge in and you can play it. That's it, job done. There was a little update, a mini update, and there'll probably be another one because we'll probably talk about that in the news a bit later on. But yeah, this like playing this on a handheld to me was just like it was funny.
I just think it's crazy that it runs on that on
It
a handheld
runs
like that.
like okay, I guess we'll say it runs palpable, passable. So it runs basically at like 30 FPS. I've heard the FPSs do drop in some of the more, we'll say, sort of like system areas of like the Dogtown in the Phantom Liberty expansion, where there's a lot of stuff going on. But apart from that, I literally went on my Xbox, uploaded my save to the CD Projekt Cloud thing, went straight onto the Switch, downloaded my save to it, and straight away I was just carrying on my Switch with my Xbox character.
That really pissed me off, though, that did, when you told me that.
What's that?
Because they fucked me over with The Witcher on Xbox, where if you had the normal Witcher or the Game of the Year edition, they said it's a completely separate game, so your game save couldn't go. So I'd spent like 85 hours in The Witcher, and they're still doing this today. They're selling like the complete edition for like £8, or you can buy it all separately, and that never goes on offer. So, but my game save wouldn't go over to the complete edition. It's a whole different game. So if I want to play the DLC, yeah, it's still like it to the.
You've got to buy all the DLC separate.
No, I've bought the Ultimate Edition, which has everything, but my save from the normal edition will not work on the Ultimate. They said it's a completely different game with all new achievements.
Oh,
so in order to complete the game, to play all the new DLC, I'd have to like complete the game again, and it's a long bloody game.
I'm sure you could find the time, Nick.
Mate, you know I don't have any time. I'm still playing games from PS1.
But yeah, it was kind of funny because I mucked around on it for a little bit, sort of got in a car, was listening to the music and sort of like walking around and everything. It doesn't look amazing. I think it's like locked to maybe it's either 720 or 1080 on the handheld because it obviously can't really go over that at 30.
Well,
and then docked, it might be 1080.
Can I just tell you
like
something I've read, that it goes down to 540p on the Switch
I haven't noticed that myself.
Yeah. Just so you know.
Yeah, I was going to say that might be in quality mode. If you're playing in quality mode, it does drop the resolution in quality mode.
But if the console and your TV has like the upscales, are you really going to notice that much?
You do. I played it docked earlier, and it.
Oh, dock. I meant on the handheld. Would you really?
Oh, on the handheld, no.
Yeah, that's
no.
what I meant.
I mean, it kind of. You're not going to get as much detail anyway. With the handheld, because the screen's not big enough, so you're not seeing your character up close. So whereas when you're playing the original game, you're reasonably close, you can see the texture of your character's clothes and all that kind of stuff. Like you're generally not going to be seeing that on the handheld edition or the iteration of it. But I did giggle because when I booted it up on the dock today to check to see what it was like in docked mode, my saves from PS5 were also in the cloud. because I linked that the other day when I was mucking around on that.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's just like
That's
I've
good.
got the save from my Xbox, the save from my PS5 version, and obviously I'm playing it on the Switch. So I think it just uploads naturally once you're linked your last save from the game to the cloud, so you can access it through either of any of the systems if you want to,
Nice.
which is nice. So there's that. Yeah, I just wanted to have a nice sort of like first person-y, something that I could absorb myself in, like when I'm out and about, mucking about, and it runs reasonably well as well. When I was on a bike and I was like running, I went through Night City into the desert and stuff, and went back again to see if there was any like super hitches and stuff. There was like a couple of little bumps here and there when I first got on the bike and I was driving, but after that it seemed reasonably smooth.
That's good.
And I was still kind of chuckling to myself, thinking like, "This is crazy that this is actually running on the Switch." And I think one of the things that has pissed people off a little bit was the Phantom Liberty expansion was only available on the Series consoles and the PS5. They refused to do it for the PS4 or the Xbox One because they said those systems weren't capable of running it. And now you've got a handheld that's basically the equivalent of like those systems that's running it, and it's all on the disc, on the cartridge.
Can I just stop you a second? Because I've had two people ask the same question on the chat. So,
Yeah.
Clarky and Gamox have asked, but they're similar. So, do the sticks still drift? And if not, Graham asks, are you worried about stick drift this time around? They are not using the Hall Effect sticks.
I don't remember. Didn't have stick drift on my original Switch.
It was a huge issue. Huge issue.
Yeah, I heard it was a huge issue, but yeah, I never had it. Maybe I got a slightly later model of the Switch because I picked it up about a year after it came out.
Right.
I never.
And
had
generally,
I'm not.
I'm not that violent with my consoles anyway. Like, I think the only time I've noticed I've had slight stick drift, and then I realised what I was probably doing is like, right, yeah, I probably shouldn't have any of my thumbs on any of the thumbsticks when I turn a system on, because that changes the central dead zone.
Oh, okay.
I did that one.
Of when it's booted up. So if you basically like slightly move your stick to a slightly different direction and then boot your system up, it will drift because it thinks it's locked. That's the central start position when it isn't. It's actually you've already moved it.
Right.
I think a lot of third-party controllers like Scuffs and stuff have used this, like that Hall Effect sticks and things like that. And I don't think Nintendo was ever gonna, outsource their technology. I don't know if they've used the exact same sticks as before. I think they are better, but I think if anything, time will tell. But they were quite decent about repairing them, though, from what I remember on the Switch One. But yeah, have you ever had that Webby stick drift?
No.
Yeah, so like we're pretty, but then I think we're older. To be honest, I'm not having a go at people if they aren't, but maybe it's just like heavy-handed people and they're playing.
I've known a few heavy-handed people on games when I've been around people's houses and I've been watching them play, and I'm like, mate, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, I've got
Jeff Capes in this shit, like you doing.
Yeah, I mean, I've still got my Xbox One controller from 2013, 2014 when Titanfall come out. And other than the analog,
sticks are smooth as a baby's butt.
Yeah, that's the thing. And this one's started. The sticks
are
smooth. Everything else is lovely apart from the sticks. And I'm like, bloody hell. And now I've noticed it. I don't know. I keep looking at my girlfriend's new bright purple one. I was like, what? I'll just take that one. But
we're talking about the controller.
Yeah, like the analog sticks wear off. Hey! Stop
it. Anyway, moving on.
What's another Switch game you played? Switch?
Yeah. I'll briefly talk about the one I played for about 15 minutes today to test it. With Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma or Azuma.
Rune Factory, yeah.
Yeah. So initially, this was a game that I saw advertised like about a year or two back. It's like from Marvelous.
Okay,
It's kind of like a
Japanese.
part hack and slash, part RPG, part sort of like, I think there's building and farming elements to it and stuff
Okay.
as well. You can choose one of two characters. It's like a male character or a female character, and it's about like a dragon deity and stuff. And I noticed, like, hang on, this is a Switch launch game, but I didn't even know this was coming to the Switch, and this was advertised for the other systems like years ago. What the fuck's going on? And then I looked, and there was still no release dates for the PlayStation versions of the game. So I looked it up, and the Switch was like, yeah, it's 4K and stuff in docked and that, and I was like, well, fuck it, I'll get that then.
Nice.
It's
As
a weird
another one.
game though, because that works on Switch One, but it doesn't say anything on the UK boxes about it working on Switch One.
I imagine it kind of does, because it says it's the same as the next game I'm going to talk about, where it says on the box, the Nintendo Switch 2 edition comprises the original Nintendo Switch game and the Switch 2 edition upgrade pack. So obviously they're both on the cart, but it will only iterate the upgrade option if you're playing it on the Switch 2. Which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
So
some
it
of
means
them
you can
haven't
then
done
stick it in another, in the original Switch and play it on that still. Whereas you couldn't do that with Cyberpunk or Mario Kart.
No.
They will literally just solely work on that. Yeah, so I tried that out. It looked pretty, and it was pretty decent. I just didn't really want to get super involved into it, not especially when there was another game that had already grabbed my attention and I was already quite involved in after about an hour. And that was a game I completely skipped on the original Switch.
Wow.
Zelda.
Oh shit.
One.
The first one. Breath of the
Breath of the
Wild.
Wild. Yeah, I like
Oh,
So I thought I'd start off with the original. So obviously, Breath of the Wild as a Nintendo 2 or Nintendo Switch 2 edition. So if you buy the Switch 2, you get again similar, where it's like the Switch 1 game,
with a
but it's
code.
got the upgrade thing on it. No, there's no code. It's just all on the cartridge.
Oh, that's good, because I think you'd have hated
Yeah.
it if there was a code, wouldn't you?
Oh, I would have. I'd have probably not bothered. See, I always look up the Switch stuff. To be honest, if it's a game key or a code in the box, go fuck yourself. Not interested. I want my games on the cartridge. If you can fit Cyberpunk and Phantom Liberty onto a single Switch cart, then you can bloody do it with any game. I'm sorry.
Have you heard that it's like, apparently it's less than £1 to have like the 64 gig card, but it's just a lot of the third party developers are just that tight.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Because like I say, you go from like a 32 gig micro SD card to like a 64 and that, it's like a couple of quid difference on Amazon.
It kind of like negates the point of even having a physical copy if you're going to do that.
I mean, I said it before,
to be honest,
we don't want to go
bizarre.
on to it. It's just their way of weaning us off physical, innit? That's what they're trying to do slowly.
I started this off, like, obviously plugged the cartridge in, and like with like pretty much all the others, it was just like plop it in. Oh, there it is. Can I play it? Ping. Yep. Oh, there's a mini update. Like literally took about 20 seconds. Pushed the button. In I went. Straight off. I was just like, yeah, that's exactly what I want. And I never played this because I was never a fan of obviously certain aspects like the weapon break-in, and I heard people saying that the frame rate wasn't great and it had issues, and the second one's apparently worse for frame rate and things, which I can imagine because the game's going to strain the system a little bit more because it was made a lot later.
How you liking it?
I'm really enjoying it. The visual style of it is really good. Like it's kind of one of those games like we've always talked about, haven't we, Webby, where it's like if you're going for a certain visual style to the game, you can't really improve it that much.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I think this game kind of fits into that slot quite nicely, because it's very sort of almost half sort of 3D, half comic-y.
Well,
and now
pastel
obviously it
colours
looks,
type thing.
yeah, it all looks crisper and sharper and everything like that, and runs at a consistent sort of like nice, clean frame rate. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it, to be honest. It's very weird for a Zelda game because you kind of usually get guided in those games a lot. Whereas in this, you're kind of thrust into an open world. And yes, it does say, like, oh, go here to check this out, and then you can do this and look through your scope and you can find others. But it's up to you where you go from here, obviously, doing in whichever order you want and look about and you're finding other secrets. I did one of the, pardon me, little dungeon things where you learn, like, an ability. Because before I went in there, I was like, there's these treasure chests underwater and I can't dive down to get them, and that's kind of pissing me off, and I'm still half naked.
Huh.
I want like a jacket or something, or a hat or something at least to wear.
Yeah, there's a few bit because I only played this. I started this went 2017, and then I
Yeah.
finished it about 2 years ago.
Wow.
So is it that old, is it?
It's
Yeah,
yeah, it was
launch title 2017.
came out
Wow.
donkeys years ago, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. I think if I remember what happened with me was I kept going to an area that was cold, and I kept shivering to death and dying. And obviously, I had to make some kind of food that had like chili in it that could keep me warm, so I didn't die. I think this was one of the last sort of big games that came with a strategy guide.
Yeah, because I've heard that you obviously not only have you got the weather stuff, because he like the old boy you meet at the beginning briefly talks about them. A bit like the way when you're picking up all these ingredients, he keeps talking about being able to cook, and I haven't got the ability to cook anything yet, as far as I'm aware. It's like you can cook apples, and they give you more health back when you eat them.
Right at the start,
other
dude.
ingredients.
I think the first
Jesus,
little I think the first little bit you come to, or the first like stone pot, it will just give you a tutorial.
Yeah, no, I haven't come to that stone pot yet. I got to the guy with the fire. He was at the fireplace, and I sort of spoke to him, and he sent me to do a dungeon, and then we went up, and he wants me to do more. And I keep laughing because like loads of my other questions are like, just give me the parachute, mate. Kind of thing, because that's what he's going to give me, a parachute.
Yeah, that's when the game opens up, because you can use that to get to the next like proper open world area. I think this is like a lot of games, which it did irritate me at the start, where. And then once you leveled up and updid your abilities enough, then you can then like say if you're climbing up stuff, you're just always falling over, and they still work today. If you look on YouTube, some like cheese and areas where you could just get loads and loads of hearts for nothing. If you're interested in that, and it takes like 10, 15 minutes to copy one of these tutorial videos, which I did, which just gave me loads of hearts that made the game more fun, and more stamina and stuff like that. So it does break the game, but it just makes it more fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've heard there's like quite in-depth weird things, like if you're riding through a lightning storm, like you shouldn't be wearing metal armor because
or if you lose a metal sword, you'll get attracted to it. So you have to take everything, like use a crossbow or something, or wooden things. Yeah, you will get electrocuted. That's happened a few times. So this game was so popular, and the next one, there's a third-party company that actually built wrote a strategy guide for it as well.
Not Brady Games or whatever it is.
I think they did one, but that's sold out, and that goes for like hundreds of pounds on eBay. But it's like a third-party one that's on Amazon for both, and they're like 15 quid. So up to you if you want to look for something like that.
But yeah, no, like I was going to say, out of like this is the one I was kind of like, I can find myself sinking my teeth into this quite a lot. I can tell I sort of missed out on this when it first came around, but now I'm kind of getting a nice 4K, 60 FPS HDR kind of iteration of that.
Oh, you did notice the slowdown in this. And the Tears of the Kingdom was worse because they made it, even though it's the same area, they pushed it.
You got the building and stuff, haven't you? And you can go higher into the sky and stuff with it, can't you? And other bits. But yeah, I almost got them both together, but I thought, you know what, I'll start off with this one just in case it doesn't click with me. Then I haven't wasted my money on the sequel. But I'm kind of interested because you feel like I'm guessing how this game is done is you're coming into a game after shit's already gone down. Because I've gone through areas that look absolutely devastated by like a big battle, and there's loads of like these big enemies that are all like dead in that zone and like rotten and overgrown and stuff. And I'm guessing these are some of the things from some of the Warriors games that talk about like the prequel era of it, like the Age of Calamity or whatever the hell it is and stuff. It's a pity they're not getting an upgrade, and it's a shame that the other Mario game isn't, but they might do that a bit later on, I reckon. What was the Mario game on the Switch? Because I didn't buy that either.
Odyssey, that's the one that got the free upgrade.
Odyssey, yeah. Oh, Odyssey got a free upgrade, did it?
Yeah, and I'm hearing conflicting, but apparently Galaxy is part of the, or Sunshine as part of the 3 set that you can't buy anymore.
We could buy I'd rather have because I don't own Odyssey, but I'd rather have the upgrade and the game on the cartridge rather than having to install it. Because obviously you have like minuscule memory on these systems, don't you? And it's like you're kind of looking at it, and it's like not taking up hardly anything because your game's all on the cartridge.
256. Did you buy a memory card for it as well?
No.
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, I think 256 should be enough for a little while at least.
I mean, I bought like the smallest one for the Vita, which I can't remember what size that was.
I think 16 gig. Or 18.
And I never even got halfway through it because I never used to buy any digital games. So I just had all my games on the cartridges, and I'll just play them like that.
Yeah, but that was just for your game saves or digital. It didn't, you played the games off the cartridges, you didn't have to install anything.
So yeah, it just makes a change, like having like this system now where I can buy a game. It almost feels slightly old school with a lot of the games where I can just literally, I'll buy it. It's on the cartridge. I'll plug it in and I'll play it. I don't have to install it to my system for like 15 to 20 minutes or longer. Like I dread to think how long it would have taken to install something like Cyberpunk. But yeah, you don't have to. You just plug it in and off you go. But I will say, if you're into Cyberpunk and you actually want to play it, generally buy it for one of the other systems because you're not getting the best version at all. You're just getting like a kind of a good enough version, but compared to the other ones, it's kind of night and day in the difference. So yeah, I think that's enough of the Switch talk. That's all I've really got to talk about.
I'm glad, mate. No, hardware sounds really good, mate, and some of the games and that.
Yeah, I don't get what all the sort of like the poo-pooing was when it sort of came out. Whether it was people that were kind of, I don't know, upset or they just didn't think that it was a big fucking upgrade or something.
Yeah, looking at it, Switch, there isn't a Switch 2 version of Odyssey, but it's a free, you don't pay for it, it's just a update on the Switch, so you don't even have to pay anything, it's just a free update. So
I'll wait and see if they do one. I mean, I haven't tried out any of the back compat games, which is interesting. I've heard Bayonetta 3 runs way better on the Switch 2, but the cutscenes are still horrendous, like frame rate wise.
I think it depends on the game. Some games had like frame rate that could go to whatever, but some of them didn't. But plus it's emulation, it's not hard. This is the first time Nintendo have used an emulation instead of just having the hardware in there.
I mean, it was interesting when I was going through, obviously, like the Switch games that I did have, and sort of like smiling to myself and thinking, like, no, the Switch had some really good sort of games and some pretty good, like, what do you call them, exclusives and stuff, like Astral Chain.
Yeah, I've got that. I've got so many.
And Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 and stuff, and obviously I've got like Galgun and stuff. I don't think that'll have a massive upgrade. It'd be interesting to see what Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is like. Although I could see maybe that further down the line getting an upgrade because that was a hugely popular game. So I can kind of see them maybe thinking, yeah, we could do a Switch 2 version of this, up the res,
I think the newest
bundling the
Xenoblade.
expansions and the DLC,
So I
and
think the
job done.
newest Xenoblade had like a hidden Switch 2 setting, like in the code or something, but they haven't done anything with it yet.
Yeah, no, it's kind of one of those games that everyone's always raved about, but I know that game's censored. Like, it's still censored from the original Japanese version that came out years ago, and until they bring out an uncensored version, I'm not interested. With that, they made a load of alterations for the Western audience, and they can fuck off, basically. It's just a shame that like the Japanese themselves didn't actually kick up a stink when they realised that the version they were getting for the Switch was going to be the westernised censored version.
Make you wonder how many people just don't know.
There's probably it they either don't know or just a few people that don't care. But then, like, the general populace is really weird. It was like I was watching a video the other day, slightly off topic, but do you know what the most popular videos are on YouTube that make the most money now?
Go on.
AI shit. Shitty AI videos made by fucking people on their computers in like 5 minutes.
Fuck's sake.
They earn millions and millions and millions of views, like multiple times more than actual real people's videos.
Jesus.
And this is the way we're going as a society. So yeah, look forward to all the shit that we get flooded with over the years to come. Thankfully, because it's YouTube, you actually get a chance, but obviously not everyone has those same standards, mate, and obviously loads of the younger generation, we shall say, are just watching all this complete shite.
Yeah.
And obviously that's where the money is, so you're probably going to get more people in the future being like, yeah, we'll just do more of that then.
Yeah.
So yeah, time for someone else to talk about some games, I think.
All right. Let me talk about something, and you're probably going to want to talk about this as well, actually. Let me get into it. So last week, I played the Stellar Blade demo on the PC on Steam. And I actually picked it up yesterday because CD keys is always a lot better for the pricing than anywhere else. And I'm really enjoying it. Firstly, I just want to say that they've done a fantastic job of getting its Steam Deck verified as well. It's flawless. It is smooth as butter, mate. It is brilliant, and it looks really, really good as well on the Steam Deck screen. I don't have an OLED. I've got the original Steam Deck, and it looks fantastic, mate. Absolutely fantastic.
How pervy have you made it?
Well, on the Steam Deck, not, because putting mods on that is pretty tough, but on the PC, quite so.
I've actually seen a lot of the mods basically just stuff ripped out of other games. Like there's first descendant outfits and stuff, and I was just like, not really interested in that anyway. So not really missing out.
Some quite good stuff, but I got the Ultimate Edition, or whatever the fuck it's called, so it come with a load of extra outfits and that anyway. And the ones
like the black and gold and all that,
yeah,
and the DLCs and stuff.
Yeah, so it's got the crossover, it's got the near and what's the other one?
Nikkei.
Yeah, so I've not actually got to that yet. I don't know when those unlock. But the stuff that it comes with is really nice. Like the outfits are really good anyway. So
yeah, there's loads of them.
Maybe.
Yeah,
yeah.
There was loads of them like in the original game anyway, and I was kind of like, you know what? Out of all the modded outfits I've seen for this game so far, the actual outfits that are in the game look better, and they're good enough, to be honest. They're risque enough, and
yeah,
they do the job.
Yeah. Yes.
So, Webby, I've been playing this as well on PS5 this week.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
Who, me? No, I haven't.
No, I have.
All right.
Yeah. No, but aside from that side of the game, it's actually what I'm finding about it, and this is what I wanted to talk to you about, Darren, before I talk about how good the graphics are. They look fantastic, by the way. is I remember when you bought it at launch and you complained about the combat.
The gameplay in it is not very good. Like, just flat out, the game isn't very good gameplay-wise. It just isn't.
I don't know why you think that, because I quite like the mechanics on it, because there's quite... You've got the dodge mechanics, you've got the blocking, you've got the perfect blocks where you do the counters, and you've got these other type of counters where you've got to press like up or down and B, and she like jumps over and does another hit. So it's quite like that first boss on top of the car park. You know, that was actually kind of reminded me of an easier kind of Dark Souls in a way, because like he had a set move set.
Worse combat.
I like the combat. It's just I don't know why.
Slightly off. It's slightly off. It's not tight enough. Like, I've played. Obviously, this is the thing. The Platinum games obviously have got like some of the best action combat going, like Nier, which this game is heavily sort of like inspired by and stuff. Had really nice, really good, fluid, fun combat, and this game has to a part. The parrying and stuff is slightly off, and it's hard to understand that unless you've been playing stuff like Lies of P, where the combat is just so fucking tight, and when you do something, it actually works properly. It could be a mixture between that or the fact that a lot of the enemies you kind of fight in this game are really annoying to fight, just not fun to fight enemies.
I know what you mean.
Really annoying whippy attacks, and like when you get to like a desert area later on, you're just going to end up with enemies that are like just feel super tanky, super annoying. Tunnel under the ground, dive out, jump on you. That's the part of it that I don't like. The other part I don't like is the platforming. The platforming in the game is shit because it's not a platform game. But yeah, he wants you to do a bunch of platforming in it for some reason, because I guess every third-person action game has to have some sort of platforming in it. And I found that annoying. I've heard that they've now actually added options to the game that make the platforming slightly better. But yeah, that was another frustration. And then obviously on top of that, you've got like instant death parts that just suddenly you're down, and there was nothing you could do about it, that you just didn't see coming, or you didn't realise that was like an instant death part of the map or something. Or it's like, I wonder what's over there. Oh, I'm now sinking into the map. Can I get... No, you're dead. Oh, fucking great. Thanks for that game. Like, it just felt cheap, and it kind of soured everything else, because visually the game is stunning. Like, it looks even way better on the Pro, and I imagine that the PC version's basically that plus a little extra.
Yeah.
You've got an amazing soundtrack, but I just found myself really disliking the gameplay to the point where I got about 2/3 of the way through the game and just never went back to it because it just frustrated the shit out of me.
That's weird, because like a lot of the reviews are glowing. D-Twin just finished it in the community, and he was telling me last week that's one of the best games he's played for quite a long while. So there seems to be a few conflicting opinions on this game. I mean, so far...
This game wasn't even in my honourable mentions for Game of the Year last year. And you'd have thought this game is right up my wheelhouse. But it just did so much to piss me off rather than actually please me that I was just like, oh, fucking hell.
See, well, what I'm quite liking about it, I mean, I'm early on in the game compared to how far you got. You know, I've not got to that sand area, I'm still in that city type area. But I'm really enjoying the combat. I think it's a lot of fun. I'm learning the movesets of the enemies and getting those perfect dodges, parries and things. But
early on, I persevered with the combat pretty well. Like, I didn't really notice a lot of the frustrations with it until later on in the game.
Okay, that's fair. And but also, I really like the exploration, because it doesn't really, from my viewpoint, hold your hand too much. I mean, you can press the back button or whatever it is on the controller.
You're given a lot of freedom as well.
Yeah. So, like, I've spent a lot of time just exploring the city. Just, you know, if I figure out the way to go, I'll think, well, I didn't go down that street or whatever. So I'm like just exploring and finding
It has got
chests and
some of the
bits and
yellow
pieces.
paint in it, Webby.
Yeah, it does. I've noticed that
Which
today.
I like.
Yeah.
Which I like.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what I mean, like, to complain this. You know how when you play Call of Duty, the guns just feel, meaty, weighty to them? That's not how this feels. It's still okay. It just, I think, like, the lock-on doesn't quite feel as, like, solid as other games. And, I know what he means. It's hard to explain it. It just feels a little bit... If all the guns and everything in Call of Duty are really meaty and tight, these are just a little bit... This is more of a Battlefield feeling than a Call of Duty feeling, shooting.
So, I'm
Good enough,
wondering
but just
if
not-
there's what the difference is between the console and PC versions. Like if that's making any difference at all with obviously with the higher frame rates that I can achieve on PC and stuff like that. Like if I'm getting a different experience, a feeling with the game, I don't know. It could be something to do
Plus,
with
they've
it.
had 18 months or a year and a half of updates and patches, so maybe they've actually fixed all that. So maybe you go back to it if you get bored and just, it feels nice now. Because so many
On the
games have had
PlayStation.
that now.
Yeah.
So many games. Because I remember this what I'm playing now feels better than the demo I played last year.
Yeah.
I was actually like really pleased with the demo when I played it. To be honest,
Yeah, I was.
like,
I'm just saying
in the
it
day.
plays better than the demo.
I mean, at the minute, so I'm early on. I've only played about 3 hours, maybe, and I'm really enjoying it. So I can't really find much fault with it because I really like the combat. I like the different systems, to say the dodging and the parrying, etc. The exploration that in that city area which I'm in at the minute is really enjoyable, and the graphics are just absolutely stunning. So it's kind of like Near. It does feel a lot like Near to me, and Near Automata I really enjoyed that as well. So, so at the minute, I think it's great.
And do you like how this is 3 times more popular than any PlayStation exclusive that's come to PC now?
I wonder why.
It's because most of them, I think, because obviously like they've announced that the game sold like just over 1 million copies or something in 3 days, which is pretty impressive considering. I think they've sold just over 2 point something million on the PS5. But I know a lot of people have double dipped that had it on the PS5. And obviously, it's kind of in a game genre that used to be like half a dozen on console, but no one makes anymore.
Right.
So I think that's also helped the popularity, and the fact that the people that used to buy these and play these games on console back in the day have all probably gone to fucking PC by now. Because they're sick of the same bollocks that consoles keep churning out, so they wanted to up their palette. Like these are the kind of games that PlayStation used to revel in, in the sort of PS2, PS3 kind of era, and then they just stopped and were like, "Nah, let's just focus on fucking Western story games," and drove a lot of their
Live
customer base to other drove a lot of their customers to other platforms.
I just think it's
And obviously they've now got
game.
the and the fact as well, I think as well, most of the people that played Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, and Last of Us Part 1 and stuff had already played those on the console. If they were into those, they already had them on the console, so there wasn't as much of a reason to buy them again on the PC. And again, you've got to think it's like kind of different crowds for different games. Generally, it's almost like you're not going to sell a bucket of copies of like a point-and-click strategy game on console.
Yeah.
Because those players are mainly on the PC. And also if you're after a third-person sort of story-based game, you're generally going to find more of those on console than on PC. The only ones that do well on PC aren't necessarily classed as such, and they're like open world Soulsy games, or maybe your Assassin's Creed and stuff. They're not necessarily like a God of War or a Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, maybe. I just think you know, you're getting a full product. You know, you're getting a lot of content there. And obviously for us Steam users who have Steam Deck as well, you know, can get to play on handheld as well as on, you know, as well as on the big screen. You know, and it just amazes me just how well it runs, as I say, on that little device as well. I think that is really, really cool. So
it kind of makes sense because it ran and looked great on the PS5, and then they did the PS5 Pro update, and it was kind of one of the showcase games for that.
Yeah.
Of what they could actually do, and then they added like a weird mode. It's kind of weird because there's like I think 4 or 5 visual modes you can have on the Pro.
Oh, right.
And one of them is like really fucking good, uses the PSSR, and it runs at like 60 and like looks fucking great. And then there's like another version where it doesn't look as great, but it only runs at 40 or something, and it's like their version of like the graphical mode or something, and it's like
weird.
Fuck. But yeah, I've heard a lot of journalists have been sort of getting slightly upset about the game's popularity again as well.
Yeah, which I've been laughing at. It's just, you know, all the memes comparing it to Dragon Age and this is what sells and this doesn't and stuff like that. It's just the internet in general, isn't it? It's.
I saw a recap video where they were talking about all the shit that happened last year as well, how they had a go at the developer.
Right.
And the same person's doing it now. I was like, people like that don't exist. And that is literally like a body scan of his wife, in it.
Yeah, something.
Eve. Yeah, it's his wife. Like a body scan, face scan. So it was just like, just let people enjoy playing with pretty characters. It's fine.
Indeed.
I mean, I'm expecting Gears of War next month or in August. They're going to like make everyone really skinny instead of big muscly dudes.
Yeah.
Which we don't want. Don't do that.
No.
Well, knowing Microsoft will make them all trans, wouldn't they? There we go. Anyway,
but yeah, at least I mean, I'm glad to see that. Obviously, the fact that Sony backed this studio, and they're seeing the fact that it's actually paying off. I might even think that this was someone at Sony that might have been back then going, look, don't count these games out, don't cut off all of this audience, help this fund this, get behind the studio, we'll launch this game, we'll see how it does, and then that'll tell us like what the industry wants, because you still need to do stuff like of finding out what the industry technically wants, rather than just constantly following the same old two-step all the time. I mean, they've tried to emulate the two-step with all their live service stuff, and so far they've literally stumbled out the starting blocks.
Yeah.
And in the case of Marathon, they broke both their shins and left their nose on the ground and the impact, like.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think traditionally, like the Sony releases on Steam have sold okay, but not amazing. And this is just wiped to the floor with all of them. To the point where I'm
like, why did they bother?
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas this is the first one where I'm like, oh, this one was actually kind of worth it. A bit like Helldivers, where that one was actually kind of worth you doing.
Yeah.
I mean, they've stated they're working on a sequel.
Yeah, it's going to be a good many years, though, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't know. They can, once they get the engine down, because obviously let's remember this is their first console game.
Yeah.
They literally just made mobile games and tinkered with some other bits and bobs before they actually did this. And there's been quite a few studios that sort of start tinkering, and all of a sudden they're like, right, cool, we've got our engine now. We know what we can get out of this. The more we fuck about with it and tinker with it, the more we can push it. Let's see where this can go. So it could even linger into the tail end of the PS5, beginning of the PS6 release.
Yeah.
As a possibility. I mean, to be honest, it would be interesting if they did tie in probably more for Sony's sake into this PS6.
Yeah. Well, but what they should need to do is do a day and date release on PC as well.
No, that will fuck the sales.
Yeah, but I want it on day and date, and I don't want to buy it on console.
It's obviously like a lot of people double dipped, and they wouldn't have double dipped.
Yeah.
So they would have got less sales.
That's like what they do with Grand Theft Auto, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. Cool. Anyway, that's
But we
Stellar
shall see.
Blade, and all of us have mostly enjoyed it for the most part, I guess. But let's move on to a game that Nick's played.
It's one of those things because of the prettiness of it that I have always got it sitting there and it's still installed.
Yeah.
And I have got the Nikkei thing on a wish list because I think it's only like £5 or £6 or something, isn't it? The DLC.
They're like £8 each.
Is that it? They're still quite cheap, aren't they?
Yeah, but I think
you get like
about 7-8 hours.
New outfits.
Yeah.
That's amazing when you consider you get like, was it like tons and tons of new outfits? Obviously, you said you've got like new content and other bits and bobs plus that all for £8. Meanwhile, you've got some games. Yeah. Meanwhile, you've got like some games that are charging like fucking £6 for an outfit for a character or something. It's like,
COD is about 18-20 quid for one skin.
And then you'll go onto their thing and they're like, oh, the outfits are on sale. And you're like, sweet. And you look over them and it's like 20% off. And it's like, that's hardly anything. There's still like 4 or 5 quid, dickhead. But they've been out for over a year as well, you twat. And you can also get those outfits if you buy the complete edition of the game on the other platforms. So isn't it about time you actually put that on sale properly? It's like the way that Final Fantasy VII Remake, you know, the Yuffie DLC?
Oh, yeah.
That's never been anything more than 25% off in a sale. Like, it's never gone below 25%.
Yeah, because they're forcing you to buy the whole complete edition instead.
Yeah, no. Things should go on sale. I mean, it was like today I went and got, like, I think there's sales on the thingy for, like, the Atelier Yumiya stuff. Because they announced... the Riser, like Riser 3 and that. Because they announced, obviously, they're bringing another one to consoles and PC, which is one of their mobile games. So it means the actual game's going to get to live instead of just die on a mobile phone. Which is good if it's well produced and voice acted, and if it's in a series like the Tales games are pretty well received, as are the Atelier games, although they're more niche. But yeah, they're on sale for like 65% off.
Jesus.
You're like, that's actually a proper good sale. And it's like, oh, look, there's the season pass gone down from £36 to like 12 quid. Yeah, that's actually good. Not like, oh, is 50p off your fucking outfit. Why aren't you so happy about that, mate? Oh, I don't know. And the fact that you can't even buy the outfits in a bundle either. You have to buy each one separately. Because we couldn't be bothered to release a bundle to maybe, I don't know, take a bit of price off of it. Greed, mate.
Yeah, corporate greed. Anyway, let's get into a game that Nick's played.
Yes.
Yeah.
How long have we been going now before that?
Only an hour and a half.
Yeah, Claire Obscure. I'm still struggling.
Oh, what a game!
I've been playing this.
I'm struggling less. Because I put in the WhatsApp what I did. Because I said to you guys, there's something I'm doing wrong.
Did you not have Pictos equipped or something random? Or there's someone had... Oh, was it that?
Yep, that was... Yep. Well, no, because it says you could equip 3 Pictos per character.
Yeah.
I didn't realise there was... Yeah, you go through the Luminous section, so I'm like, why am I so underpowered? And why is nothing working? And I was watching... I think I watched the... Angry Joe did a video review.
How's he got like 7 ability points at the turnstile when I get 3?
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh. So I've played like up to halfway through Act 2 and I just hadn't equipped anything. So that's why I was struggling, but I'm still like
you
the
did
boss
well
fight.
to get that far.
Yeah, I mean, I should get an achievement for doing that. But this game, I don't know if it's brilliant or shit. There's so many people I know.
It's the first.
No, but there's so many people I know that have annoyed, given up, and so many people I know that love it and think it's great. And it's just, I just think it's, for a start, I don't care what anyone say, the difficulties aren't right.
No, it was very tough on easy. Yeah,
everyone I know who started it on normal have put it down to easy. Even people I know who rip the piss out of me for playing it on easy story mode. Whether they're going to patch it, I doubt it, but, you know, that's just a little thing. And I just think everyone I know, and I think you've done it as well, Webby, have had to go online to see what they're doing or where they're going or what they're doing wrong or just, to do an enemy, which, I mean, is that a bad thing?
It doesn't explain some stuff very well, like the
Yeah,
Picto
some
thing.
stuff it doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know it was there, mate. I'm going through stuff. And
It's
like I said,
literally there at the start it comes up in a screen, and then
tiny little
once you've
square
done
of
it,
text.
you've done it, it's gone. That's it. Unless you remembered it, then you won't remember that. Like, oh, hold on, after I equip this, after 4 battles, everyone can equip it or learn it, but you have to go into another screen to do it.
Yeah, but I think when it told you that, it was then another couple of hours before you'd progressed into the game where you'd got more Pictos, so you'd probably forgotten again. But it's just some of these games, like RPGs or JRPGs, it's like they either click or they don't. Because I know a lot of people hated, like Final Fantasy VIII junctioning system, even though I had an auto, so you could just automatically do it. And the same as, I mean, I really enjoyed 13, where it had the paradigm system, but it's one of those, like, if you get it and it works, it's awesome. If you don't get it, it's absolute shit. It just doesn't. I mean, I've got that with Final Fantasy 12. It just won't click with me.
Oh, it's because it's
You were the
shite.
same with that. You were the same with that, Webby, weren't you?
Shite,
it was
mate.
because it's like halfway between an MMO and halfway between a normal Final Fantasy, and it's not a good MMO system. It's not a good MMO system. It doesn't do one or the other.
Was it fucking the master of all trades, but the something of none or something?
Yeah, jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah, it just does both, and it's like, this might work well on a PC, but it doesn't work well on a PC because the other half is on a console. But I mean, I'm getting there, and I've basically what I need to do, which a lot of these JRPGs, I think Webby might tell me or I'll Google it. I want to get to a bit where I can just grind and level up and just really start to, feel the game. And I would I don't know if you can, if I could just overpower the characters so I can just smash through the game.
You keep, I suppose, hanging around an area for a bit and respawning them at the flags. Could possibly do that, but
yeah, it's just this game is so close to be. I mean, I'm not going to be like some of these people. Like Angry Joe gave it 10 out of 10. I think Webby's not far off. Some people have jizzed all over it. I don't think it's that. I just think we haven't had a good, honest game like this probably since 360 era. If you know what I mean. We had loads of these games on 360, but it's because we haven't had anything like this for so long. And like I said, there's no loads of DLC. There's no season pass. It wasn't 70, 80 quid. There's no woke nonsense in it. It's not got no hidden messages. It's just a decent game. Everyone, majority of people have enjoyed it. And that I think this would have been a 6 or 7 out of 10 on 360. Because we had all other games.
Mate.
No, I'm just saying,
what was your favourite on? I mean, obviously you liked Lost Odyssey, didn't you?
Lost Odyssey was my number one game.
Yeah, and then you had Blue Dragon, what was decent. Well, I thought
Blue Dragon was a bit of a weird one. That
I know, but I'm just saying it wasn't as good as that. And then what was was it Last Remnant or something on there? I think.
Oh, that was good. Yeah.
That's what I'd put this as. I wouldn't say it's Lost Odyssey tier of awesome, but because we haven't had none of those Lost Odyssey games that good for a while, we think it is this good. But I mean, I don't know if I can finish it, I might have a different opinion.
I don't know, mate. I think it's one of the best RPGs I've played this console generation. I'm saying,
mate, for everyone I know, like you, who say it's awesome, I know another couple of Twitch streamers that just give up because they can't get it.
It's because they're noobs, mate. They're not proper hardcore gamers, mate.
It depends because you will run into certain enemies that are, depending on where you are in the game, are either unbeatable at times, or if not, they feel it, because if you make a single mistake, you're just going to get stun locked into oblivion because they just break all your characters and leave them stunned every move.
I'll tell you what was getting me though. Like I'm playing the bosses. I'm enjoying in this game. The normal enemies are kicking my fucking ass, and that's supposed to be the other way around. And I don't know. Well, maybe because I didn't have nothing equipped. But some of these enemies, they just kept doing stuff, and by the time, and like I said, the break system, that's similar to the what you do in Final Fantasy 13. But the problem is, it near enough takes all of my party's effort to break them, and then I may get one attack after that. You know, where his shields down or whatever to get an attack in. So. You know, it's. I don't know. I'd like to have a strategy guide for this.
I enjoyed. I mean, there is guides online, and I did use one a little bit because it reminded me of an old school Final Fantasy in some ways. When you get to the world map and you can explore it, and then you get easier ways to explore the map as you progress through the game, like an old school Final Fantasy.
But then there's still. One of the sort of things that is like I say, there's still a couple. I still have gripes with this game, even though I think it is fucking amazing.
I'm saying like half of this game is amazing, and half of it's infuriating.
One of the things that actually kind of bums me out, is even though you're given free reign of the map, you're still pretty much forced into mainlining the fucking story. Because whenever you try to go anywhere else, it's like, you can't go here yet, you're underpowered for this yet, you really shouldn't be here yet, and you're like, all right, so all the optional stuff that I've actually got open to me, I still can't actually access or properly do, so you're kind of almost being funneled still, even though
what's the point of letting you go there if you can't, if it doesn't want you to go there? Yeah, and I don't care, it still should have had a mini-map. I don't give a shit. I keep like what you said about following these lamps. I kept following them. I couldn't get there. The bit I've now done, Webby, which I followed the lamps and I went back to the start of the fucking level, and I was like, oh, great, I followed it the wrong fucking way.
That's funny.
I appreciate them maybe trying something different. Like in Ghost of Tsushima, they didn't have that. You just followed the wind. But at least the wind was blowing the right way. This one, I'm like, I ain't got a clue. But also it's redoing levels and reusing the same bit. I've done this bit, Webby, where I had to fight these giant masks. Do you know where I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing the same area, but then I have to do it again after I've done the mask.
No, you'll go. They're all different areas.
There's three or four different areas. They're all themed on a different emotion.
How am I supposed to know which? And I went.
Remember which turn you took?
Yeah. How am I supposed to remember that?
Dude, I don't understand how you have so much problem with this game. I didn't get lost at all.
Same with Alan Wake, mate. Probably it's because I've been spoiled with mini maps and waypoints and games for so long that it's hard to go back to how it was before, mate. And
to be honest, with that one, I will say, whenever you get back and you loop an area, you end up back at the flag. So just remember which direction you took from the flag.
Oh, I can't remember that. Plus one of them bit, which was before the end of Act 1.
How do you navigate the world without a sat-nav, mate? I mean, I'd be worried about you if you got lost in like the woods or something, or you just went out camping or something. I don't think you'd come home.
Probably not, mate. Thank fuck for Google Maps. I have to use Google Maps to get to work every day, and I've been there 20 years. No, it's irritating, but because my gaming is different. Like when I was streaming this, I want to be getting on, and I'm getting frustrated because I'm lost and I'm trying to do it. And
it's understandable, yeah.
So it's frustrating me more.
Yeah.
Because when I'm streaming, I feel like I'm letting people down who's watching me.
Oh, fuck them. Just play as you want.
Well, no, but I'm like, it's annoying me because I want to play the game and I can't do it. It's like if you get annoyed. If you're playing a game on your own, you're in the house.
Me, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I know. But so you were getting annoyed, so you were probably muttering under your breath, "Fucking bitch, stupid cow." But imagine if you had, what? I know you get some, but imagine if you had 5 or 6 of your mates standing around you. Can't you do it? I thought you said you were fucking good at games, mate. Fucking useless you are. Why don't you put a fucking Fortnite on? That's what you deserve, mate. And you're like, thanks. That's made me even more pissed off. But I don't know. Mate, never mind.
Yeah.
This could be game of the year for me, or I'll uninstall it for like the 6th time.
I mean, I've been playing it a fair bit as well. I'm in Act 3, so Webby sort of knows roughly where I am. I haven't tried going to where I'm supposed to go at the start of Act 3 yet, but I've noticed pretty much all the other areas on the map that are open to me aren't, and it's like I'm almost being forced to him. I'm doing another side quest for one of the relationship quests currently, and we'll see if that ends up in a "you shouldn't really be here yet, mate," either type of a thing. But I'm looking forward to finishing this game because I think this game deserves a spoiler cast.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I'm trying to. I said that when you were off Switch. I want to get it because I like some of the story. Some of it I think it's just robbed from other games, but
for me, it's where they actually took the story is like super cool, like really, and it fucking opens up so much possibilities. But I can't really say too much more. Like, I'm thinking there may even be sequels already in the works, or they're already planned. You know what I mean? From like where they're talking about different factions, we'll say.
Or maybe the Claire Obscure is going to be like their Final Fantasy, and then the next game will be a Claire Obscure something else completely.
I mean, the whole concept of the game itself is just fantastic.
Oh, 100%, mate. Like, you could never have dreamed of that story.
So much inspiration from so many different things, and they've merged it into what so far is like an absolutely fantastic story with amazing characters.
Oh, yeah. Great voice acting as well. Some famous people in there, I believe.
Like I said, the performances and everything like really pull you in, like the sort of cutscenes and things like that. Even like when the characters are fighting, they don't just stand there motionless.
Yeah. It's a fantastic game.
Cracking their shoulders and other bits and bobs. And
I still can't believe it went to Game Pass on day one as well. I feel like I've cheated them out of money because I would have bought that. You know what I mean? It's amazing.
I don't know if they're still struggling with the
20 quid on PlayStation, you'd buy it.
Or people would buy it.
The physicals ran out of copies, didn't they?
Oh, did they?
Mm.
Oh. Well, that's good though, in a way.
Already had to do reprints to get it restocked because they ran out of copies.
Fantastic. Awesome. Okay, so that's Claire Obscure. Let's move on. Darren, you played anything else?
Claire Obscure was mainly the other game I've been mucking around with since I returned, I shall say. But obviously other things have been distracting and taking up the time.
Yeah.
Because I usually like to put in a couple of hours at a time into that.
Yeah.
It's not the kind of game I'm just going to stick on for half an hour because you're like, oh, I'll get like 5 or 6 fights done and that's it.
Yeah. All right. Is there any other game you played?
I did actually play a demo for a game.
Ooh.
Eden Zero.
I've not heard of that one.
So it's basically based on the mangaka from Fairy Tail. It's probably his most popular work. He's also recently been working on Farmagia, which I think was after Eden Zero, which was kind of... People were basically saying it's like Fairy Tail in space.
Right.
It's like a space RPG. And I was interested in picking it up. I probably still am going to pick it up. It's very kind of, we'll say, PS2, PS3 era kind of RPG, JRPG with like an extra polish because the visuals are slightly better now. It's sort of like semi-RPG, semi-hack and slash to a degree, but the weird thing from the demo, which kind of worries me, is it's like, it's the beginning of the game and you can carry your save over to the game when it comes out, which is out next month. But the very opening of the game is just like this disjointed sort of flashback stuff of like what the hell is actually going on. And then it sort of flashes back to something else.
Well, so you don't understand what's going on.
I'm just kind of like, Yeah, so I'm kind of like in the fact of like, right, it's obviously telling a story of what's going on, but I've got no clue who these characters are, who he's meeting, what this is all relevant to. It's just like story stuff. And then it kind of flashes back from a different perspective to somewhere else after something's all resolved, and it was kind of like, well, I've still got no idea what the fuck that was all about, and it didn't make any sense. And this is obviously parts of the game because it's showing like some of the scenes as though they're in game. It was just weird from that perspective. So, but everything else was like fine. Where I was just like, yeah, this is fine. I can see myself playing this.
Nice.
But yeah, that part was just odd. Just the start, I was just like, well, if you're going to do that, just let me play through the story and collect the characters and whatever, rather than whatever that was supposed to be. Because it was like just introducing characters and stuff. Which is what you usually do when you're playing an RPG. You meet the characters as you're playing through the game.
It looks like a beat-em-up game, like a fighting game.
Yeah, it's kind of like I said, it's
dudes with tentacle arms.
Yeah, it's like part hack and slash, part sort of, but he's got RPG elements, like his pickups and levels and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you can kind of see what I say, where it's like it plays and looks like a sort of PS2, PS3 era JRPG, but it's the visuals have been upgraded, where it just looks crisper and cleaner.
Yeah. Cool.
Can you imagine? Just suddenly thinking, can you actually imagine what the next Tales of game is going to be like?
Probably the same as the last one, mate.
Well, no, I really, really like the last Tales game.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. Yeah.
And I think that set the bar quite decently high.
Yeah. They're still quite niche titles, though, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. But they're still sort of popular.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, like where you kind of think a game has to sell like 8, 9, 10 million copies to be successful and highly regarded, and that's just not the case at all, because there's so many other games that sell like 3 million copies and they're chuffed.
Yeah, well, normally if it's a newbie shite game, it has to sell 8 or 9 million to break even, doesn't it? Because they have so many employees.
But we've said it before, haven't we? Like there are ways of like cutting development costs.
Yeah. And 100%. And
just having, like we said, people with a vision for a game and getting a small group of people who have got to share the same vision together, like people used to back in the days before obviously big corporations took over.
Yeah.
And sort of dictated what they made.
Well, have good people working for you.
Put them to it.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. You've all got a group of people that are all like trying to punch through. Like, like Expedition 33 is like basically the modern poster child for that now. But then even before that, Baldur's Gate 3 was a group of people very much in a similar vein. I don't know. You can kind of see where sort of like people are sort of getting sort of bored and bummed out with AAA in a regard.
Yeah. There's still plenty of decent games out. Well, I'm overwhelmed at the minute.
Because you would have had a load of people with Clair Obscur basically be like, oh, I don't know, it's turn-based, I'm not interested. Nah. And sort of shunned it. I mean, we already saw like the kings of turn-based combat, the company that's very much known for that, shy away from that in all their recent games.
Yeah.
Because they don't think it's a viable sort of thing anymore that people want.
Well, they just think they'll sell more copies if they don't have it.
In the West. Cool. Can I talk about a demo I played, since we're talking about demos?
Indeed.
And this was a really good demo.
Is this that game you was on about, Vindictus?
No, I forgot to even put that on my list, actually. Well, thank you for reminding me. I'll talk about that in a minute. Hell Is Us.
Oh, nice. Yeah, this is a game I've got an eye on.
Yeah, I think the demo only went to PC, as far as I was aware.
It did, yeah. I did look when you said there you've been playing the demo. I was like, demo? Oh.
Yeah, you get quite a big a chunk as well, to be honest. It took me a good few hours to get through the demo, but I think that's because I spent quite a bit of time exploring as well, because I took some screenshots, actually, Let me just find them. Just give me a second. Perhaps the demo's gone now. Did I put? I put
It was
them.
probably a timed. It might have been a timed one that was only up for a while for like play testing.
Oh, it was only a timed one, yeah. But I took some screenshots. I can't remember what chat I put them in on the Discord now. Anyway, I'm just going to go from memory though. Is at the beginning of the game, there's like a load of they have like a little blurb where it says, "Oh, like to make like our aim was to make a game." Where it doesn't hold your hand or something. Oh, actually, did I put it on my...
I'm out.
There was a video where basically it is literally like that, exactly that.
Yeah, I found it.
So
right.
It's literally you have to make your own way through the game, and it's completely up to you how you go about it.
I laughed at this because I thought of Nick. It says, "Warning, our game has no map, no markers indicating where people or things are, where to go next, or who to talk to. We will never tell you precisely what must be done or how to do it. To thrive in Hell Is Us, you will need to pay attention to your environment, listen, and be vigilant." So Nick is out on this because he doesn't read any of the discussions. I know.
I want my hand held, both hands. I want a little bib, and I want to be pushed in a pushchair. That's what I want.
So, I really enjoyed the demo because it is exactly that, right? So it starts off quite not simple, but it kind of like it gives you a kind of feeling of what the full game is going to be. So you're exploring the woods as this guy, and and you get to a clearing, and there's a farm, and you go in the farm, and there's a guy to talk to, and you start talking to him and having a discussion, and because you want to get to a place, and he's like, well, to get to this place, you need to go in the woods and follow these lanterns, and there's a vehicle at the end and these people, right?
Nick's like lanterns.
Yeah, he's getting some PTSD now. So
Webby.
That's exactly what he says. So because you go in the woods, right, and there's loads of different paths that you can take, and if you explore some of them, I actually found some secret stuff, right? But it's kind of like, but you only get that if you actually read and talk to the guy and you pay attention, and it's like, right, as part of the discussion, it's like, oh, you need to go this way. So it's like, oh, okay. So then you go this way and you do, and you follow it, and then it's this, well, I don't want to say this game is really fucking gory. So when you eventually get to the place that you'll need to get to, it's a little bit of a puzzle solving to open this door. You speak to a guy and he's like, oh, they've gone in there, but the door's locked. So you have to figure out how to open the door, which you do. And then, so you're exploring this kind of undergroundy tomb chapel kind of type area. And some stuff happens where this lady turns up and you get her powers of that. So she has like a sword and like some magic power type thing. And so you get a sword. It's because at the beginning you have a gun, but your gun doesn't do any damage to these weird, freaky creatures. And then you're about to die and this woman appears with a sword. And she gets killed by one of these creatures. So instinctively, I did laugh at this. Your guy's like, "Oh, just pick that," just picks up the sword and carries on, and then it teaches you the combat of using the sword and how to fight. And it's actually pretty good, the combat, to be honest. And you get a drone as well. So you send the drone off, and basically the drone actually can help you in combat. So it teaches you that if there's more than one enemy, you can actually send the drone off to distract one of the enemies while you're fighting the other one, which is quite a cool thing, actually. I've not seen in a game before. So I thought that was pretty cool little feature. But the drone you can use to like scan the areas and to help you out in that sort of way as well. But it felt kind of like the combat felt a little bit, I hate to use Dark Souls as an example, but you lock on and that kind of movement when you're locked on. It felt kind of Dark Soulsy, which I quite enjoyed. But there was a lot of puzzles in that first in the demo to solve. So if you're watching the stream now, you're seeing the guy running
Looks
around.
like Dark Souls.
Yeah, he's running around the different areas, and you're having to read these tablets, and you've got to figure out a puzzle to open a door, and then when you do, you get through to the next area. But I quite like the vibe of this, because it's it feels like a mixture of new technology, because you've got the drone and a tablet that you can look at to find out, like it. You can read it to tell you about the people you've met and to kind of remind you on what you're going, and what you're wanting to do, if that makes sense. But with the old school of weapons, because you get a sword, but then later on the level you pick up twin axes, so you can chop and change between using the sword or the twin axes for different fighting styles. So it gives you like a really good idea of what the game is going to be like for the full version, because basically the demo ends where you get into this vehicle because your dude wants to get to this town. I'm not going to spoil it. And then you get to the vehicle, you stop, and then the demo ends as you're entering that area. And then it says thank you for playing. But graphically, it looks stunning. Looks really, really good. I found
it did look crisp whenever it was shown, at different events and stuff.
Yeah, and I really like the combat as well. It's because it's kind of feels quite familiar from games I've played in the past, if that makes sense. But adding in the drone, I just quite enjoyed that. It is very gory. Like the enemies are really weird, like really freaky looking. But it felt old school in the other way of it's not holding your hand, as you say. There's no mini maps, there's no maps, but you do get a compass that you can bring up, so you can kind of figure out where you're going in that aspect, which kind of reminds me of Armour Reforger, because I'm so used to playing that, because all you get is a compass. And well, you do get a map, but you can't see where you are, if that makes sense. So you have to use a compass a lot to figure things out. And I just kind of like that.
And you were like, let me put on my armour experience.
That's it, mate. Yeah. Yeah. So, and also like what it makes you do as well is it really makes you pay attention to the like your surroundings. So you'll like note things in your mind of, there's a car in this on this road, or there's like a fucked up tree there or something like that. And then, so if you go back to it later, you'll be like, I remember I've been here because I remember that and I remember that, So actually, in some aspects, like all the effort that these devs have put into making the game look nice, you're actually appreciating a lot more, because like in a Grand Theft Auto,
there's like loads of hidden things and puzzles in the world.
Yeah, there is.
That they don't even expect a lot of players to actually ever find, or the usual sort of thing where they put like random things in.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it seems like they've put
places.
Yeah, they've put a lot of work into like the design of that area, that first area I was in, because there was a lot of offshoots in the woods. Like if you would go in the woods, right, you'd be like, like if you go into like a forest in the UK, like they have signposts on like the trails to go, but then you'll like look at, there's like little offshoot roads, like paths down there and there, like I wonder what's down there and stuff like that. It's kind of like that, but without the signs.
Alan Wake 2 had some pretty damn good woods.
It did, mate. It did. So this game wasn't really on my radar until I played the demo, and the demo's really kind of sold me on the game. It is. I think it's gonna do pretty well because it's
September, isn't it?
Solid. I believe so. Yeah. So it's coming out in quite a jam-packed month, unfortunately. But
I think it's like a £50 game. It's not like it's like not a, we'll say, AAA budget game. It's like slightly under.
Yeah.
It's launching at like that classic AA price.
Yeah, £45. Oh, the demo is still on Steam, actually. I've just searched for it. So yeah, the demo is still on Steam. Yeah, 45 quid, not too bad, because that'll be much cheaper on CD keys as well. So highly recommend it. If you've got Steam, check out the demo, because I know the demo is time limited. But I just can't remember when it ends. But I do remember seeing something when I was playing it about a time limit of some sort. So yes, it's great. So anyway, back to Nick.
Yeah, only one really I've been playing. So playing on VR, but I've bought an exercise game.
Nice.
Which is fun. Which is Les Mills Body Combat.
Okay, that
Just
sounds.
Boxing game or just a exercise game?
It's exercise, bit of everything. Well, the thing is, though, there's a lot of games on there, but there's like a subscription based. So I'm like, oh, I'm not paying monthly. So this one, it was on sale. So I think they have a lot of sales on the Quest store, the Meta Quest store. But yeah, I say it's simple to play, but I'm knackered all the fucking time. To be
That's
honest.
good, mate.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, basically, it's I never played it much. You know the old Guitar Hero game.
Oh, I loved them. Why don't they bring any new ones out?
Yeah.
Anyway. Fortnite.
Yeah, money.
It's called their festival.
But basically, what you do is you stand there, either both feet level, or left foot forward, right foot forward, and like that's about it. Kind of, you don't have to run about. So, and basically, you've got two hands. Like in the game, just two boxing gloves, and that's all you've got. You've got a watch on your wrist as well, which is nice. So if you get the time, and basically the bits come towards you, which you've got a punch and stuff at certain angles, and but it's like to the rhythm of songs as well. And you've also got like the personal trainers in the game shouting at you, telling you you're doing really well. I'm like, you're obviously not watching me do it. I'm not too bad, but it's just some of it, Webby. I mean, I'd love to get you to go on this. You're absolutely fucking exhausted some of these 15, 20-minute ones.
The only thing I'd be concerned about, well, not concerned about, is probably I'd find annoying is because I sweat a lot when I exercise. So like the headset would get really sweaty and annoying.
Yeah, VR in the summer sucks.
Well, I've bought which was probably too much, but I bought the silicone one fascia plate that you swap out, just like unclip it and plug this one in, so you can just wipe it down. Because the one, for some reason with this one, they've given you more of like a meshy one, like the PSVR, which I think in theory is more comfortable, but it peels really quickly. It's like, those like headphones that eventually go white and peel, the fake ones.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. But with this, like I said, it's pretty good. You put in like your age, your height, and your weight. It goes up that high. And like I say, I play in the bedroom because, I know where I am. I just don't want to punch the TV.
Yeah.
And you've basically got several different punches, like jab, sort of like hook, uppercut, and things like that. And if you see in the game, you've got those walls which you have to just duck left and right. And the one comes down, you have to really like get down low. If not, it hits you. And like in the video, man, the sweat dripping off. It's not just the heat. That's even worse in the heat.
Yeah, I'll bet.
It's so much fun, but it's also like you play it and you're like, it tells you how many calories you burnt as well.
Wow.
And it's like covered in sweat, which is like kind of awesome. But it's not just, you don't play it like the Wii. It can actually detect, if you look at it, Webby, like the little circle things you actually have to punch.
Yeah.
The harder you punch them or the faster you punch them, like it can tell. So it gives you more points. So you don't just like tap them slightly. You've really got to go in there. And I thought, like, in my head, I must have looked like a professional boxer playing this. And then I saw a video. I was like, I did not. I looked like a fucking gay idiot trying to have a fight, like flapping my fist. I'm like, damn it, you've ruined it. But just some of the bits. So not only that, there's a few more coming in. Like you actually have to lift up and like grab a kettlebell type thing and pull it down, like lift your knees up and stuff like that.
Jesus.
Honestly, mate, everything's clicking when
I feel knackered just hearing you talk about it.
I'm getting exhausted just describing it, mate. But you do that like an hour. I'm trying to do an hour in a day. I'm just absolutely fucking like dripping with sweat afterwards. But It's good. I mean, I'm not sure how much because I think it was like 22 quid, but then it was on offer for like 16, but then it had like stuff with loads of DLC for like 30. So I went with that, but I just didn't want to like the other. There's one which is only in America, which is really popular, like on my Facebook group, but you can't get that here, and that's like subscription based, and I don't want to pay £8 a month.
No, that's fair enough, mate.
But yeah, that's what I've been doing, like in the bedroom. So anyone looking through the window, they'll think, "What is he doing?"
That's all you've been doing in the bedroom,
Yeah, boxercise, mate.
Yeah, boxers getting nice and sweaty.
Brilliant. Anything else from you, Darren? Cheers, Nick.
Not really of elongated value, no.
Well, I've been playing a game that's been getting slated, and I've put quite a few hours into this, and I'm actually quite enjoying it. I think I'm just a weird guy. You know, like Stunty and Rambo. He has his love for the Rambo games, and they're shite. I think I've got the love for this game, and it's been universally panned. That is Mindseye.
Oh, wow, you've actually played it.
I've
pumped in about 8 hours into this.
Wow.
Did you pay for it?
Of course I did. What'd you take me for, Nick? Come on.
You lying bastard.
I got it on PC, mate.
Exactly.
CD keys. A deal. Yeah. Mega cheap.
Yeah.
It was on a massive sale, mate.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
They've actually been offering PlayStation owners refunds for this game, haven't they?
They have indeed. Now, playing this, I personally, well, I've not played it on console, so I'm just going from PC. Not a top-end PC, mind you. Now, these days, a 3080 is kind of, 5-year-old graphics card now. It kind of reminds me of the performance we saw of Cyberpunk when it first released before they patched it. Like, the frame rate is all over the place. Like, it does sit at 60 in, like, enclosed areas, and then you get outside and there's cars driving around, and the frame rate's, like, going down to 30, up to 60, down to 45, up to 60. It just jumps around, and it's really jarring because you notice it.
That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's if something hits a consistent frame rate, that's generally fine. Even if it's a 30 and you're playing a game that's capped at 30, as long as it hits that consistent 30, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's when you get the spikes and the dips when it just sort of judders and stops.
It has a lot.
Jerk.
It has a lot of it, and
which is the annoying thing.
And the thing is, right, it's meant to be kind of an open world. Well, it is an open world game, but you can't steal anyone's cars. You have to use your own cars. You can't just run up to a car and take it like you can in a GTA or something. Weird. You can only drive your car. And what's really weird, as I noticed, I did a few missions where my car is pretty much completely destroyed. It's fucked, still driving. But the weird thing is you walk into the building where you have your missions, and you talk to the mission person, and you come out and there's just another car there in place of your old fucked one. It's like they kind of tried to explain it away very briefly in a snippet, saying, we've got a new car in your space, like on one of the missions, because they do change colour, like, so it's a different car. But I just find it weird, like, when your car's fucked, you can't just get out and take someone else's, because you're meant to be kind of a security person. So you're meant to be kind of a goodie. So I'm guessing that's how they're going to try and explain that away. But it's weird because it's very... It is mission focused. Like, I've not found any side quests at all. It's all just been mission. And you're kind of funneled, like, the world feels kind of a method of getting from A to B, if that makes sense. So it'll be like, I'll go to this place to do this thing, and it comes up on the in-game sat-nav, and you either drive there, or you get missions where you're it's not a plane, it's called a kind of a hover car, and it's like a big drone, and you can fly around, and it's set in Vegas in the future. So it's got like the big sphere there, but it looks it's weird because like sometimes I think the graphics look really nice, and then other times I'm like, ugh, it just looks a bit bland. Like when you're up in the sky flying over Vegas, it just looks a bit shit. That's the only thing I can really. It just looks a bit eh. But then you look at some buildings, you think, oh, that building looks good.
Yeah, that's pretty well done.
Yeah, it's just really strange.
Well, did you hear the rumours about it?
Game is like a sort of like one of those games that not everyone's thinking about, and then it comes out of nowhere, and then it's got like really good reviews, and it's actually way better than people think. But unfortunately, it was the opposite.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Nick? Sorry.
Well, did you hear a lot of the developers left before this came out, and there's a lot of rumours and stuff that basically the people in charge of this were like, yeah, this is due, the game's coming out. And they were like, well, no, we haven't finished it yet. And apparently it was supposed to come out, like, next year.
Right.
The people in charge were just like, no, that's done. And loads of people got fired, and they just released it. Because it sort of came out of nowhere. When I saw it, I'm like, this game looks awesome. I mean, that was probably one of the best, like...
Well, they did some good marketing, didn't they?
Slice, yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought... How did this game come? How did I not know this game existed? This looks awesome. And I went to Amazon. I saved it to my wish list. I thought, well, I'm going on holiday in a week. I'll get that on payday because that looks brilliant. And then I saw all the videos and people are like, this game is not finished and broken to a level we haven't seen for a long time. And I'm just like, and you've heard about that before, like the executives just like stealing or just taking, the newest version of the game and just releasing it.
Yeah, it is a strange one because there is kind of this whole thing of in the menus that people make their own content, which I've not tried, but it's just really weird, like that aspect of it, because it's like it's not you and it's just like mini missions. Because it gives you some in the campaign to give you kind of an idea, if that makes sense. Because it's all about you've got this chip behind your ear, and you can see into like other people's lives and things like that. Yeah, but it's a weird one because the story, that's what's keeping me playing it, because it's a really interesting story about, the future and the merging of man and machine and drone warfare and stuff like that. So I find that really interesting. And some of the politics in the story as well. But the actual gameplay itself is just jank because, as I say, the driving just feels weird, and so you can only drive your one car. The combat is like Timu's version of Gears of War. It's you hunker behind cover and you shoot people and they're dead really easy. It is an easy game, to be fair. But what's really weird is as you're running over bodies, you're picking up their weapons, but you don't know that you're picking up their weapons. So like you'll open the weapon wheel and you'll be like, where have all these guns come from? You know what I mean? It's really strange. It's like there's been no thought process on letting the player know that things are happening. And also something that's really weird is, it has a mini-map all the time, which Nick will be really happy with.
I want a mini-map tattooed on my arm.
But do you know what it's missing for an open-world game? An actual map. There is no way to look at a map of the world at all, which I find really bizarre for an open world game. So yes, it does feel half
unfinished.
Yeah, definitely unfinished. But what's there story wise is quite like they got that right. They got that spot on, in my opinion. The actual story is just really good. It's just the other aspects it just feels like it needs a lot more time to cook, to iron out those issues. It needs a map. They need to sort the jankiness of they need to sort the performance out. They need to sort out the actual gameplay with the shooting mechanics, etc., the cover mechanics, the weapons, the feel of the weapons, etc. Like that just feels that it's not done. And it feels like, because I've done a lot of game testing in my time, it feels like I'm testing an alpha build of a game, that's about 6 to 12 months out from release. So I think you're right in what those rumours have said, Nick, 100%. But I'm enjoying it for what it is. But would I recommend people go out and spend 50 quid on it or whatever? No. But
you did.
Of course, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Yeah, of course. Just for podcast purposes, mate. So yeah,
imagine, I think this is what GTA 6 would have been like if they'd have released it this year on it.
Probably.
Like, it just needs more. But you could tell it's got the underpinnings of a good game. It's just not been polished and not finished.
Yeah. But no, at least I could talk about it on the podcast, so that's all good. Yeah. Have you played anything else, Nick?
No, mate.
And you haven't either, Darren, have you?
No.
Okay, let me just talk about a couple of other things just very briefly. You may have heard me mention, I did subscribe to Ubisoft Plus. That does run out, I think, very soon. So I tried to play Avatar, the new Avatar game, on my PC. And this is Ubisoft for you. The Ubisoft launcher is still fucked, and I can't launch the game on my PC. I've tried many times uninstalling it, reinstalling it, going through all the things that all the fixes that have been online, and apparently it's just a known issue that they've never fixed. And I think the game's been out for over a year. It's just a known issue that this error comes up and you can't rectify it, so you can't actually play the game you've either purchased or played on the subscription service.
Sorry, mate. I just guess that won't work. So
Yeah.
We'll look into that.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah, cheers.
So I did download it on my Xbox and I played it for about an hour. And it looks nice.
It
But-
looked visually reasonable.
Yeah, but I just played about an hour, and then I was like, yeah, I've had enough of this, and I've not played it anymore, and I've deleted it because my Ubisoft Plus is running out in about a week, and I know I'm not going to renew it. So
I'm actually kind of a bit surprised at the fact that they've made a game, like obviously in the Avatar world, where you play as like someone who's an avatar,
yeah,
and it's in first person.
yeah, because graphically it's
Most of their games are like third person
Yeah.
adventure games in an open world, which this is, but it's first person. And
It's
like,
stunning,
hold on a
mate.
minute, you're letting me play like an 8-foot blue alien person.
Mm.
Can I at least see my character?
But yeah, the graphics are stunning, mate. It is really, really beautiful.
It's the Division devs, isn't it, that did this?
Yeah,
Or some of the Division team.
Yeah, they did a really good job on that. And I was speaking to Turner in the Discord because he completed this, and he said it's like Far Cry, but with
Yeah, I imagine this
but
would be
Avatar.
downfall.
Yeah, so that sounded to me like I love the Far Cry games. That it sounded right up my street, but sadly, because I know I won't finish it before the subscription runs out, I'm just not going to pump any more time into it. But briefly, felt all right actually, but yeah. That's about it. That's all I can say, really. Graphically good, very smooth gameplay on the Xbox, but not going to finish it, sadly. Yeah.
Well, you won't have enough time. Oh, was it a trial or just the actual game?
No, it's a full game because on the Ubisoft Plus, you get every game. You get everything. It's like Game Pass, but for Ubisoft. But it's 15 quid a month, you see, mate. So I didn't want to do it for more than a month. I only really got it to play the Division DLC on both my PC and Xbox and the Crew DLC, which I've really been enjoying as well, which I've completed now as well. Completed the Division DLC. Been playing lots of the Division 2 on PC and Xbox. Not this week, but the week before. I've completed the DLC on both systems.
So was that just another new area of New York, was it? Or was it...
Yeah, it's Brooklyn.
Like the one that you previously went to?
Brooklyn, yeah, it was from the Division 1, yeah. Yeah, but it looks lovely, and I really enjoyed it. I've had a lot of fun. I played a lot of it with Pudster, which was really fun, so nice to jump on with him again and do some gaming.
I'd love to see him redo the first one, to be honest, in a sense. Like I'd just, like I say, as much as I like the Division 2, I still way prefer the setting and the feel of the original game, the first one.
Yeah.
Just the fact that it was kind of snowy and sort of dark, and that sort of time of year. It kind of added to the isolation and the quietness of it all.
But also, I just feel like the way it's designed, I don't mind replaying missions multiple times with different people because it's just fun, you know? Yeah.
As long as the gameplay's fun and you're enjoying yourself, redoing stuff, it's not too bad. You just have to make sure that redoing it is also enjoyable and it doesn't become monotonous.
Yeah, that's right. So, all good. And I think, let's double check my notes. That's everything. That was a lot of games. That's 2 weeks worth of gaming.
There was one that you missed, but...
Oh, Vindictus. I didn't really play much of it, mate.
Is this the one where you fight sort of like feral wolf people or something? Or because there was a game that was very similar that came out on PC a while back. So another one of these sort of like online-y sort of MMO typey sort of games, but you were basically just beating up like beast people all the time.
Yeah, so obviously I just wanted to check it out mainly for the character creator, just to see what everyone was going on about. And yes, I can confirm it's pretty awesome. But I think that's kind of what the selling point of the game is. It's kind of like character creator, make big tits and stuff like that, try out different outfits. The actual game itself, I was just a bit like, I've done this. I've played this type of game multiple times. It just graphically looks stunning. It really does. But you're just kind of running around with a big sword, picking up quests, and you're just fighting ogres and enemies and things. And the combat is okay, but not groundbreaking or anything. It's, left mouse click does one move, right mouse click does another move, hold it down, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, meh. You know what I mean? I was just in that...
There's been games with good character creators before. I think one of the ones was it Bless Online that I tried. I thought the character creator in that was pretty decent, and you could make a pretty cool looking characters and stuff. And then it was just like when it come to the combat, I was like, oh no.
This is kind of similar in that I was just like, it's just very simple combat, if that makes sense, So they're really trying to...
But this is still just an early showing, isn't it? It's not the actual game. I think the same with the one I was thinking it possibly was, but isn't.
But I was laughing when I was playing it because the jiggle physics are really over-exaggerated.
You usually find there's an option to tone that down.
I was just laughing.
Because there are points, like, you do get certain games where you're like, what the fuck? And it's like, knock that shit down. Like, at least make it realistic if you're going for that.
Yeah. So
because it's just silly.
Yeah, it is very silly, but you can spend a lot of money buying different outfits as well. So,
well, that's where they obviously make the money.
Yeah, so
it's good. I want it.
I'm not sure how long the demo, the alpha is on for either. I didn't actually look because I've not played it for too long, but I might play it some more this week just to give it more of a fair shout, mate. I didn't have a lot of time when I was checking it out, you see, and I've been very busy this weekend and stuff. So, but I'll give it another bosh for you to give it another fair shout, mate. But yeah, all good.
What's it called?
Vindictus Defying Fate. It's only on Steam at the minute.
Has there also been a beta or an alpha for that Chrono Odyssey, or is that coming soon?
I have no idea about that game, so let me have a look.
You do know of it. We talked about it because it was the game stuff.
Yes, sorry. I just looked at a picture and was like, yep, my memory's been jogged. There is a play test. I've requested access apparently, and I've not got it yet. Nice. So obviously I do know this game. So yes, I'll let you know because I'll get an email if I get an invite to that.
Nice.
It's not enough hours in the day, mate.
Indeed.
Okay, let's talk about, because I know we've been going on, just about the Konami show.
Oh, right, yeah, I was going to say, are we going to mention that?
So I had to watch, I didn't watch it live because I was busy, but I did watch a replay of it. And I was so my notes, just to refresh my brain, is they showed Metal Gear, But
Yeah, that was the first thing.
I got annoyed, mate. I got annoyed at this because they've got different content for on different consoles, which really annoyed me, mate, to be honest. Because on the PlayStation, no, was it on the
PlayStation and PC, it's Ape
it's
Escape.
Ape Escape, yeah, and on Xbox it's Bomberman stuff, which all looks cool. It all looks cool, but I can understand why Ape Escape stuff's not on Xbox because it's Sony property, but it's still a bit annoying, mate. I hate it when they do stuff like that.
It was kind of weird, but it was nice that obviously people on the other platforms still got a bit of extra bonus content.
Yeah. But it looks amazing, doesn't it? Oh, it looks so good.
Bomberman's a bit shit, really, and I was like, they could have had anything from Xbox.
I don't know, the actual sort of gameplay bit that they showed looked very kind of amusing because it's very Bomberman-y.
Yeah. And they've also talked about briefly the Fox Hunt Online mode for it. Which
it's like cat and mouse kind of thing,
doesn't
man,
it? Or looks quite good.
Similar to that.
Yeah, man. So
go down the routes of old what's it call it? Splinter Cell.
Spies
versus
Mercs, yeah, on the OG Xbox. Yeah, so obviously we'd seen loads of Metal Gear before anyway, but it was just cool to see those extra things. Oh, what was the other one?
I really hope that game does well because
I think it will. I think it'll do amazing.
It's kind of one of those things where like I want a lot of Konami stuff to do well because they were one of my favourite game publishers, like in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like their Super Nintendo library was amazing. They had so many good games, and then they just kind of went, "Yeah, we're done with gaming. We're just going to make pachinko machines because they make us a hell of a lot of money." And we'll kind of just abandon this side. And as gamers are kind of like, you fuckers, do you realise how many amazing IPs you have under your banner?
Yeah, that's it.
That you're just going to sunset. Like, please don't. I still want to give you money for some of these franchises. And if this does really well, I think it will spur them on. Because they've already had a fair bit of success, haven't they, with Silent Hill 2 Remake?
Yes.
Which they handed off to a developer that kind of still hadn't proved itself at that point.
Mm.
And then that changed a lot of people's minds.
Yeah. The next game they showed looks quite... I've seen this before, Darwin's Paradox. You play...
this is that funky octopus game.
It looks like a lot of fun, doesn't it? My little boy was like, "Oh, Daddy, I want to play this. Looks awesome."
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those little kind of Child of Light priced.
Yeah.
Little downloadable games, isn't it?
This just looks like a lot of fun, doesn't it?
Mm.
Little side-scrolling puzzle type game.
Physics platformer.
Yeah. So that looks.
What was
cool.
it? Octodad, wasn't that? What was that on? That was
PlayStation.
Oh right.
PlayStation game, yeah. And then the other game, which I can't remember if you got excited for it or not, Darren, a Suikoden Starleap.
I thought it looked really good. It's on bloody mobile phone, isn't it?
Yeah. That's right.
So good job on that one. Like I was just looking at it, and obviously I'd had a Switch at that point, and I'm like, put it on the Switch! But then I know if they did, they'd probably just do a fucking game key card, so it wouldn't really matter anyway.
What's weird is it's coming to Steam as well. Steam does love to have mobile phone games on it for some strange reason.
It's an extra bit of revenue, isn't it? And to be honest, with them being on Steam, that does kind of give them a little bit more of a thing of like they're less likely to want to shut it down super quick.
Yeah. And then they showed off Gradius Origins, which is basically just a pack of all the old Gradius games by the looks of it.
So many good franchises, Konami.
And then there was one
called... Did you hear, though, Switch, about the Suikoden, what I put in today? About the 1 and 2 HD remaster that Webby got a couple of months ago. They brought it out on Switch 2 just again. Like digital only over here. I think there's game key cards in Japan, but they're just not giving you the free upgrade for Switch 2. They just want you to buy the whole thing again.
That's
like
bullshit. That is bollocks.
And people, like, if you look on their Twitter page, the official page and stuff like that, they're just ignoring people. They're not even acknowledging it. I'm just like less than 2 months, and they want you to just spend the whole £45 again. And the only thing different is it's like 4K docked, and I think it's 60 frames per second. It's basically the PS5 Series X and Steam version for Switch 2. I'm like, well, why didn't they just wait 2 months and just release it on the Switch and have it? Because that, that game you were playing, that works on Switch. If you put it in a Switch 2, you get the Switch 2 version, and if you put it in a Switch 1, you get the Switch 1 version. They've just done it. They just want you to buy it again.
Cunts.
Yeah, so they do good things, but sometimes they're still
Where was I? Deliver at all costs looks like a crazy game.
That's already out, isn't it?
Is that out? Is it? Oh,
yeah, I think it's already out. Yeah, I think they pretty much advertised that it was out now.
Okay.
On the show, and I think I've seen clips of it before on some of the online stores and stuff.
Oh yeah, £25. Came out on the 22nd. It's coming out on the 22nd. Oh yeah, 22nd of May it came out. Yeah. So there was that. Survival Kids.
See, I didn't know this was an old IP.
No, I didn't either.
I just presumed it was a brand new game, but obviously in the show they were like, no, it's based on an old IP. I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Not my type of game, but a lot of people would enjoy it.
Yeah.
Definitely a game where you'll get the most out of it with a group of people playing with. Like, I don't think it'd be a particularly fun single-player experience. That's even if you can play it single player.
Yeah, I think it's just a multiplayer-only game, isn't it?
I think he did say that you can actually do it single, but it's way more fun and easier with friends. Because obviously it's all about figuring stuff out and moving stuff across the environment to build stuff to get across to other areas and stuff.
Right. Yeah. I think I might have missed some stuff, but I don't care.
Silent Hill F.
I'm not there yet. Yeah.
Really good. Oh.
So Silent Hill F, as you say, that was next on my list, funnily enough. Looks fucked up, doesn't it? Is that what it stands for? Silent Hill fucked up.
I don't know. It could be flower, because that seems to be the symbol of this, doesn't it? Flowers.
Yeah, it looks really good, doesn't it? Like, I'm really excited for this. Like, initially I was thinking, playing as a girl, like, what the fuck? But
think of the location and environments and stuff, with obviously the messed up shit going on as well.
Like, the enemy design, monster design in these games are just so fucked up. They really are. Yeah, man, looks really good. So I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a day one purchase.
That's September, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, it's going to be interesting because I'm glad that they've set it in Japan because it's all that psychological horror and all that, you know.
That was their main aim because there was a little dev thing, wasn't there, saying like it's basically a franchise that started in Japan based on Western, but over the years the Japanese element kind of has gone. And it's become more of a westernized thing, which is true because they outsourced Homecoming and what was the other one, Downpour, to different Western developers, didn't they? I didn't mind those, but they did miss that psychological fucked up sort of thing that the Japanese do bring to horror.
Yeah. So I enjoyed that. And then the final announcement was just a little nugget, is that Bloober Team are remaking the original Silent Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Happy
about that.
Which is all they said. Like that was the end of the show. So it was quite interesting. It was quite a short show, but it was good to see what's coming. So yeah, enjoyed that.
I think that game is going to end up with a fair bit of extra sort of stuff added to it. Maybe the original remake.
Yeah, because wasn't the original quite short? I
mean, they all are pretty short when you think about it. You can speed run them in a couple of hours.
Yeah, once you know where you're going,
Yeah. But as far as I'm aware, Silent Hill 2, one of the main reasons Silent Hill 2 got such a sort of cult following and everything was the sort of pyramid head character.
Yeah.
And there isn't that kind of enemy in the original game.
Right.
I don't believe there is a entity that's constantly chasing you kind of thing outside of obviously the environmental changes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they'll put a new character in there, Squarehead.
But
David Coulthard.
Some of those areas, like being able to explore them in the first game where they made like the school and stuff.
Freaky as fuck. Right, other bits of news I just wanted to quickly mention. A LinkedIn resume, or CV, for us Brits, has suggested that Xbox Game Pass now has over 35 million subscribers. That's a lot of wedge a month that Xbox is bringing in on Game Pass subscribers. Crazy. And the other thing I wanted to mention is, I think I mentioned it on the Patreon show last week, but people that get online, I've noticed, are getting excited for the ROG Ally X Xbox version of the ROG Ally that's coming. And I just want to clarify this, that it's actually just the same as the current ROG Ally, just a little bit more powerful. So it's actually a Windows handheld. That's all it is. So it'll be able to play Xbox, Steam, like everything a PC can, because it's just a portable PC. Now, I have noted that it has got like a custom Windows UI, a bit like an Xbox UI, if that makes sense, where it's easier to navigate. But just remember that it is just a PC. It's not an Xbox. And I think people are getting a bit confused online.
Maybe.
Yeah. What's that, mate?
It's got an Xbox button.
I know. Ooh.
It's about $1,000 in it as well.
800 quid for the super duper version, but there is like a lower powered version, which is around 450, I think. There's two versions, as is the current ROG Ally as well. So I just wanted to clarify for that for people that might not know. And that is literally all my discussion points for this week. Anything else from you guys?
Yeah, I just want to let, like, if anyone wants to know, which I did say, I don't know if you looked, Webby, the Gears of War Reloaded that comes out in August. If you've got the Gears of War remaster or whatever it's called digitally, Xbox have given it to you for nothing, so they've messaged you a code on your console.
Okay.
So you get it for free. So you get it for free if you've got it digital. So if anyone's got it, have a look, because I don't know if anyone like, oh, I'll get Game Pass for a month. They might already have it in there.
Nice. I think I had it physical back in the day because I never got a code.
Yeah. Well, I got it. I had it both. I bought it on disc and then got it because I think it was like £3 or something.
Nice. Cool. I think that's it, guys, right?
Yeah, sounds good. It's been almost 3 hours.
Jesus, that's been a long one. All right, guys. Well, it's been awesome. Thank you very much. It's been a really good week. Really interesting discussion topic. So thank you very much. So from all of us here, it's been awesome. We will see you next week. Goodbye.